A martini, shaken, not stirred.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Houston, we have a problem.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
I'm your number one fan.
And here we go.
Welcome to another episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am always excited, joined here with everybody from the cast.
Hey, how's it going, folks?
Ed?
This is Edward.
What's going on? This is Zach.
Zach, and I'm excited. We're talking Tom Hanks this week, and it's our second ever bio episode. Profile, I call it a profile piece. Yeah. I don't know. But I'm excited to talk about Tom Hanks this week. Recent watches is going to be fun. What about you guys? You guys have a good week?
Yeah, well, I mean...
Good 7 days?
7 days. No,
Zach, how about you?
Car breakdown, so, broke my glasses. Fun times.
Man, you have all kind of adventures.
No, that was within 3 hours of each other, too. Oh. Yeah, I'm wearing contacts right now, so yay.
Well, I mean, my life hasn't been that fun, but I mean, no, it's Monday. You know how it is.
Good Monday for us, bad Monday for Zach, like always. But guys, I'm gonna go.
But first off, guys, before we talk any Tom Hanks or anything, I'm just glad that we live in a world where Disney Plus has taken over.
Hold on a second.
Hey, first off, we gotta wait for just a minute on that one. We're gonna get it.
We're gonna get to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But first off, guys, last week's episode was The Wolf of Wall Street on one Leonardo DiCaprio's birthday, and we did good numbers. We had them over a little 360 downloads.
Nice.
It is now our highest downloaded episode of all time. And
probably just because Leo's listened to it 800 times.
Probably. But and everybody who sent out emails last week, this week, I want to say thank you. And those are them two. I don't know if I ever say this, but my name's Juan, so I don't know if I'm like, hey, welcome to the show.
This is Edward, of course.
You've already gave your piece.
Yeah. This is Zach.
Hey.
But you guys can reach us and send us tons of emails like everybody else does at CINEMEN. That's cinnamon921@gmail.com. You can find us on the Facebook page. We got a couple new Facebook likes this week, and that is just Facebook searches Cine-Men Movie Podcast, or it is facebook.com/movie REELZ 405. The Instagram, which you can follow all the recent watches, is just one word on the Instagram at just Cine-Men Movie Podcast. And then you can tweet us. You can tweeter us at Twitter at Cinnamon405. And then, Ed, how do they get to the YouTube page?
Oh, YouTube, that's pretty easy. You go to that Facebook location. So go through the Facebook, click that Learn More button. That'll direct you straight on to the YouTube page. Go ahead and hit that subscription button. Get that little notification bell. And go ahead and leave a comment, a like, dislike, whatever you have. Let us know what's going on with any and everything.
But if you leave us a thumbs down, I will find you and make you watch a bad movie.
He has a particular set of tools that he likes to use.
But no, great Monday, good Monday. I'm glad everybody is here and with us. Guys, it's almost Turkey Day. Any memorable Thanksgiving Day traditions that you guys usually go through? Mine, Cowboys football and Black Friday shopping. What about you, Ed?
I have a very dumb one. Mine is the Adam Sandler song.
That's what I'm talking about.
I have to listen to that turkey song.
Zach, what about you?
Yeah.
It's just hanging out with the family for at least half the day, eat some turkey, feel like you're going to throw up before you go, and then go head out and do some Black Friday shopping.
Well, I was going to ask you, like, a lot of families maybe do some turkey and football or turkey and.
Well,
do you guys usually go to the movies? Back in the day, going to the theater used to be a big Thanksgiving Day tradition.
It's almost translated over to Christmas now.
Yeah.
Because Christmas Day is packed at the movies. We don't usually go on Thanksgiving just because of Black Friday shopping. This is going to sound weird. You have the Cowboys and Adam Sandler. I usually have which is, I know, stupid.
The parade?
The dog show. The dog show on
yeah.
NBC.
On
They always have it
NBC.
every year.
Nice.
So,
I mean, it's not stupid. Every tradition is. I mean, that's what Thanksgiving is. If you talk to anybody about Thanksgiving, it's either it's always going to be the food first, and then there's the second tradition.
yeah.
I will say with my mother's family, who I usually hang out with for Thanksgiving and visit with and all that. This year I'm going to be working, so either way. But we've what was it? I think 9-10 years ago broke away from a lot of the usual traditions of turkey or ham, even for that matter. Brats, burgers, hot dogs.
Oh, nice.
Indian tacos.
You kind of do your own thing.
Yeah.
That's usually that's kind of what we do, but we do that on Christmas. Christmas we'll do like some soup, some Mexican soups, or some tamales, or something like that. But guys, let's just stop. Let's stop. This is our first episode since Disney Plus came out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it started streaming at 3:00 in the morning last Tuesday morning. Took my daughter to school and Mandalorian episode 1.
Yep.
Did you guys already watch it?
Did you?
I've already
I've
watched both.
Oh my god!
I heard it's amazing,
Bro.
You have the first 5 days for free.
Well, funny thing is, I just signed up for it this morning, so
okay.
I've been out of the loop for the last couple of days. But it's just like I kind of wanted the excitement to die down just a little bit, and then just go in.
My Disney Plus is right over there underneath that Maui pop, so I really don't need Disney
don't need
Plus.
Disney
You've got Disney Plus.
But what I am excited about is some of the TV shows. The X-Men animated series is on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not excited for The Simpsons anymore because they just
all
completely
30 seasons.
Well, they trashed it. They completely re-edited it for family use.
Instead of the usual humor you get, it's going to be
so
more
they made it
PG.
family friendly, and then they took away the episode. It's only one episode, but the episode Michael Jackson voiced, they completely took that away.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of cool things on
There
there.
is.
A ton of 90s stuff and 80s, and even back to the 50s, like Dumbo and stuff like that.
It even goes back all the way to
the very first Mickey Mouse cartoons.
I watched it. I watched that this morning and a couple of the other Mickey Mouse cartoons. I was just kind of amazed just at the animation of it.
You know what, Eddie? I thought about you the other day because I was going through some of the movies on Disney Plus and Motocross popped up.
Hey.
And I was like, that was one of Ed's recent watches that he talked to us about. And
yeah.
I was like, now he can watch it anytime and better quality than YouTube.
Yeah, definitely, because that was pretty blurry. I might as well not have been wearing glasses at the time.
But we'll kind of use that going into our. We'll talk. But first off, before we finish Disney Plus, we're kind of all over the place today. Zach, let's go ahead and talk about that DC plug.
Yes, we are proud to announce the Joker crossed $1 billion over the weekend.
Yeah.
So, for a movie that was so controversial, everyone went out and supported it.
Not only that, but it's greenlit for
a sequel.
Matt Reeves said he's in pre-production for Joker 2.
Nice.
Matt Reeves?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, not Matt Reeves.
Todd Phillips,
there you go. I'm sorry.
Matt Reeves is doing the Batman. Yeah.
Which I'm excited for that. But
I was about to say, either way.
We'll go back into some Disney Plus. Zach, you haven't got to see The Mandalorian.
No. No spoilers, of course.
No spoilers. No.
I've heard the visuals are amazing.
Yes. Well,
for it to be a Disney, just a little TV show.
I would say that they kind of made a good combination of practical effects as well as CGI, because you can tell there's a fair bit of CGI in it. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it kind of feels like Game of Thrones-ish, to where where they spent quality time with it, not just kind of put this together and that's good. All right, let's release that.
They spend time building the characters.
Yes. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Actually, another Game of Thrones thing, and this isn't really a spoiler. You can search this up pretty easily. you'll recognize the one who plays the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I know.
Pedro Pascal,
Yeah.
the one who played the Viper, who got his head crushed by the mountain back in season 4 of Game of Thrones. I thought that was really cool.
That was a brutal death.
There is a, it does have $100 million budget for the Mandalorian.
Yeah, and Jon Favreau directed it.
Which, come on, man! Like, if he's starting to make this, they need to put a little bit more.
Which,
like,
I guess we're gonna have to. I guess we're just. I mean, every recent watch for every.
What do you guys watch this weekend, Mandalorian?
Well, what I'm saying is, all the new episodes drop on Fridays. Mm-hmm. So I guess every Monday, that's what we'll spend a little time talking Mandalorian.
Kind of like what I do with Letterkenny and Wu-Tang, the American Saga. Hey.
But no, in all seriousness. Yeah, they drop on Fridays, and it'll be fun to talk Mandalorian starting next week. Zach, I think you're gonna like it.
I'm really looking forward to watching it. Everything I've heard about it.
The visuals are amazing. The action is good.
The surprises are really cool.
And then just keep in mind it takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay. Is it direct? Like, well, you said 5 years, but is it in between setting up after Return, but Force Awakens?
No. Remember, Force Awakens is like 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
Right. So far, the only thing it's, I'll wait for that.
Related? Yeah.
A little bit more along his past. Now, I do know his name.
The Mandalorian.
Yes. Yeah. Din Djarin. So first and last name right there is the Mandalorian's name, and that was from Pedro Pascal himself. Said that.
But Ed, we drank some today. This episode, like all the other episodes, is brought to you by Rockstar Energy Drink. It's the official energy drink of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Get you a can, go see a movie, and it's available in over 30 different countries and 20 different flavors. It's the active energy drink for people who live active lifestyles. So grab you a can and enjoy.
Yeah, simple.
So I think we're going to go ahead and start talking some more recent watches. My list isn't as big as it normally is. So Ed, do you have anything that you checked out recently?
I do. Some a few different Tom Hanks stuff, but we'll get into that, in the episode, of course. I've kind of been going on more of a Disney Plus binge a little bit here and there when I do have the free time. Heavyweights, old movie. It has Ben Stiller. What was it? Kenan Thompson as a kid, basically like a 14-year-old or something like that. Went into that. The Mandalorian, of course, with both episodes, and then I've been revisiting some of the prequel and the original Star Wars trilogies over again. Just kind of seeing how I kind of felt about them currently. Let's see, what was the other one? Oh, well, save that for next time then, I guess. But yeah, so far, just been doing a lot of Disney Plus stuff. There's tons of stuff from our childhood and beforehand. It's so crazy. So we'll see, what happens with it all.
I mean, there's stuff on. I was just going through it this morning before I had to start working, and it was just like there was stuff on there. It was like I forgot that even existed.
Yeah.
It was just kind of fun.
Well, I mean, it's like double teamed with the two twin basketball girls and oh my god, Smart House. Loved that one as a kid. But I mean, there's a lot of newer stuff. I think Boy Meets World, Girl Meets World, and different stuff like that. I think Girl Meets World is on there.
Yeah. That's Raven. I didn't know That's Raven had a sequel to it.
Yeah.
Do you? I was talking to Ed about this earlier. Do you have problems with Disney having the Disney Vault still being processed, like on the actual Disney Plus? Like they tell you can watch whatever you want, but I don't know if you've noticed or if you've read into it, but they have the Disney from the Vault selection on the Disney Plus, and those movies are going to rotate, so you won't be able to stream them 24/7. 365.
Well, I mean, I do. That is a problem, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, Disney has a huge catalog. I mean, I don't. I'm not opposed to them saying
what's the point in having a 20? With their biggest streaming services ever, the only one they've ever had, and they're still limiting you on what you want to watch.
I mean, I guess they're kind of taking a book or a page.
I don't know if it's because I have social media, but I have. I don't know. Everybody is just on the Disney bandwagon right now, and I'm just like, it's such a multi-billion-dollar company that they could not do that with the Vault. If you're
Right.
paying for their monthly subscription, they could give you guys those movies.
Well, and there's movies on there that's also related to 20th Century Fox on there, like Turner and Hooch, Dan in Real Life, Avatar, you know.
Well, I mean, I think they're more taking
Home Alone
a
1 and
page
2.
out of Netflix's book, because Netflix, I think, is, every 2 or 3 months that it refreshes their stuff, and we'll turn
That's also
around
due to
and,
licensing, though.
Well,
Disney
yeah.
owns all the shit that they're putting on there.
Yeah, but I mean... I
don't know.
This is a rant of the day.
This is probably
Yeah.
It's turning into a rant though, but I don't know. It's just it's kind of frustrating. Maybe that's why they're only charging $6.99 for the first year. I don't know.
Or for the basic
who knows
package.
if it's going to go up? But
Yeah.
I mean, they bought 20th Century Fox, and now some of those they've already came out and said that they're not going to have anything rated R on the network.
Wait,
So
you kind of open up into that can of worms, which is like, well, you know, if Disney owns 20th Century Fox, then you should have access to Alien and all them, but it's a kids app, and you know,
Disney's also putting the Alien movies and Die Hard into their vault, saying that they're going to be released probably every 4 to 5 years.
Well, see, yeah, you don't want kids watching a chest
So
burster scene.
this Black Friday, if they're not already locked up, which I doubt it, if you find Die Hard on Blu-ray for $3,
you better get
snag it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's kind of on the fence thing, you know, but...
What about you, Zach? Did you check anything out this week?
Yeah, a lot of Tom Hanks movies we're going to talk about. I really kind of have like a binge of just a whole bunch of Netflix original films. Tall Girl, Let It Snow, which came out Friday. It's gotten horrible reviews, but I thought it was like a nice little Christmas movie that, you know, I'd go check it out. But probably the main one is Dolomite Is My Name, Eddie Murphy's new movie. Man.
I've heard it was good. Is that on Netflix?
Mm-hmm. It's really good. I don't know, man. This is the year of Eddie Murphy.
I mean,
he's gonna have a comeback, yeah.
Soon.
And then the main thing that I checked out was Ford versus Ferrari.
I've been hearing really good reviews
It's
about
so
it.
good.
Yeah, I've been hearing
But,
really good things.
you know, for me, me and my mom went and saw it, and she's a big race person, so she understood like the quote-unquote terms that they were talking about. And, you know, driving with Ed, you know, he can name cars left and right, and I think you would enjoy it a little bit more just because you can name what car's what.
Actually, you want to know a little fun fact in history? Enzo Ferrari was kind of a snub guy, you know what I mean? So back in the day, there was a tractor company that he kind of, you know, made fun of a little bit. You know that tractor company, what the name of it was?
John Deere?
No. Lamborghini.
Of course. Of course.
So pretty much, I think he inspired Lamborghini to go ahead and say, "Okay, you're gonna make fun of us. We're gonna try and beat your ass."
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
But I recommend both of you to check it out. It's such a fun movie. The chemistry between Matt Damon and Christian Bale is off the charts. And honestly, 9 out of 10. I think it's one of my favorite movies of the year.
Wow.
So it's really cool.
It's gonna be interesting. You know, I'm off tomorrow. I might go spend the morning at a movie. I don't know. Usually my watch list is really up. Been kind of a slow week for me. So on recent watches, I checked out some Tom Hanks movies that I'll get into later, and then The Mandalorian. So that's really it.
Those are rookie numbers, son. You need to pump those numbers
you have
up.
like a whole list.
Usually I'm here talking like 10 minutes on recent watches.
Like
but
you're at our level, you need to get to that level.
I need to get back to my level. I know. I'm slipping.
Don't bar down ski, bro.
We got to bring this up to HR. Those are bad numbers.
I mean, oof. Field day.
But it looks like we're going to go ahead and just start talking our top 5, which this week was our top 5 Tom Hanks movies. All right, so Zach, what's as we're going to go into the top 5, anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
Yeah, there is just one thing. I kind of want to do like a recap of what we talked about last week about the James Dean thing. So, not even, I want to say a day, maybe 2 later, I read this article on comingsoon.net. After James Dean, it says, the title of it is After James Dean, Worldwide XR, which is the company that is doing all this, plans to bring back more legends. And it goes into just saying like, well, you know, there's like a lot of controversy about the James Dean thing. Well, guess what? Which ones, you ask, are going to come back? As of right now, James Stewart, Betty Page, Burt Reynolds, Andre the Giant, Maya Angelou, Lana Turner, and Malcolm X. are just some of the few that they're planning on bringing back.
Andre the Giant.
I knew that one would stick out.
And so, like, you
Hello,
know,
princess.
we talked a little bit about last week about, you know, is this right? Is this not? Should we leave him alone? But, you know, it's kind of like that was my biggest fear with all this. It's just going to open the gates, and we're going to have, you know, pretty soon Elvis and Marilyn Monroe and everything else.
You know why? Because if I wonder if it's a money thing too. If nobody's
But they should at least test this first.
if nobody's there to reap the benefits, then they can go in there and have Marilyn Monroe act CGI wise, and they don't have to pay an actor or their families.
But they're still spending that budget on that CGI.
That's true.
I mean, that's a lot of rendering to get that face correct, and then to make motions and all.
I mean, you're going to have a movie with Amy Adams and Marilyn Monroe one day. You watch.
Probably piss a lot of actors and actresses for that matter off, just because a lot of them I know that hate just interacting with a green ball on a stick.
Ed said it best last week when he used the Jurassic Park reference.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, this week we are talking our top 5 Tom Hanks movies. And guys, I'm not going to lie when I said that this was probably the hardest list that I've ever had to put together. Alright, so I got some deep honorable mentions.
I bet you have more than I do.
You think?
Yeah. I have 8.
Total?
Yeah. I have 8 honorable mentions. His filmography has so many.
You have more than I do. Ed, do you have any honorable mentions this week?
Trace.
Go for it.
So one of them is Big. You've got to go ahead and, I mean, it's one of his nice comedies right there. It's ridiculous, especially, you know, kind of doing in a way, I think Shazam kind of deal, you know, or Shazam kind of pulled it. You know, going from 13, 12-year-old boy to 30, 32-year-old man. That every kid wants to do that because they're tired of being a kid. So for one to actually kind of be shoved in that, and for, you know, the grown actor to go ahead and think about how a kid would act or think or try and do things, I think is a really good and really funny thing. Another one I would have to go ahead and put the Polar Express in there. I just put that in honorable mentions just because, I mean, it's a great movie. Really, really nice family movie. Just since he's not truly in it as himself, as a character, whatever.
Motion capture.
Exactly. But I've got to say, that film I think kind of helped amp the game up a little bit as far as animation production goes. Just especially the train scene in that was really crazy. Gotta, you know, think about that. And then, which, I mean, I think a lot of people will go ahead and call me a hypocrite later on in this list. On top of that, the last one I've got to say is Turner and Hooch. The one scene where he comes out and Hooch is torn apart the seat from being bored in the car is just hilarious. You know, so... Yep, those are my 3.
My honorable mentions are going to be Ed, the same as you, Big. I think this one overall to me is the cast around him. Elizabeth Perkins, John Hurd, which is the dad from Home Alone, plays a really asshole in this movie, but I like it. Also didn't know that Tom Hanks got nominated for Best Actor for this movie. It's more sad to me than anything, but this is a movie. I was going through and I'm like, okay, I want to give people a bunch of information on how to watch some of his movies, and a lot of his stuff is not on Netflix or Hulu.
Yeah.
So
there was a lot of them at one point.
Yeah. So I'd have to say Big from 1988.
I guess if you really want to kind of be technical, most movies on streaming services would be on Disney Plus right now, due to Toy Story, Turner and Hooch, and, you know, some stuff like that. But
just those 3 movies.
Well,
4, 5, really.
Yeah. Well, is Toy Story 4 on there yet?
4's not on there.
Okay,
yeah,
so 4.
Is it?
Oh, well, 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Toy Story 4 is on there.
I was like, I knew 3 was, but I didn't see 4, so I wasn't sure.
And then Castaway and The Green Mile on my honorable mentions list. So, Zach, what are your honorable mentions?
So, like I said, I have 8. I'm just going to run through these. We can talk more about them when we get into the chunk of the discussion. The Terminal, The Green Mile, Turner and Hooch, Big, Forrest Gump. I figured one of y'all was going to have that in their number 1, and that I feel like that's like the number 1 film people go to with Tom Hanks. So I'm just like, I'll do it as an honorable mention. Bridge of Spies, which I think is a really cool movie. And then my honorable mention is Angels and Demons, which I think you might have the Da Vinci Code in your top 5.
Mm.
I enjoy Angels and Demons is a lot more action packed than Da Vinci Code, but I like treasure hunt films, and both of those classify. So
National Treasure, then, huh?
Where's the third one? I'm begging you, Disney, if you're listening, please.
They can't afford Nicolas Cage anymore, so...
I don't think anyone can afford Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage while in a cage.
When you're related to Francis Ford Coppola, I mean, come on.
Hey.
I'll start on then with my number 5. And it's going to be, Zach, the movie you just mentioned, Forrest Gump. Number 5. Let's see. I rewatched this a few months ago whenever we did the Saving Private Ryan episode.
Right.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, I gave it a 9. I love it. But I think it's maybe because I've seen it too many times that the recent watch that I had a few months ago was just, it's all right.
I think it's...
And I'm pretty sure it's because I've seen it so many damn times.
Well... I don't even want to say it's that. I think part of it is that movie has just been kind of... It's too easy to make fun of now, and everyone knows what it is.
Do you think that just because it's the feather, the scene, the boy run, Forrest run, do you think that movie has gotten so Americanized, or it's so inverted into America's pop culture, that it's just something that probably just irritates you now?
It doesn't irritate me. Like, I saw a commercial for one of the casinos we had, and they were talking about, like, it was the year 94, but there was Friends, there was Forrest Gump. It was just like, that was like one of the big things in 94.
Because, like, talking, I think this top 5 is going to be lengthy just because we're going to talk
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I think that, I don't know about Forrest Gump. It's just, I like it. It's not one of those that I felt pressured to put it in my top 5. But it's just one of those, I think I might have seen it one too many times.
Right.
I mean, it's, like I said, it's something that, I don't know if it's going to be in your top 5, Ed, but I mean, it's something that, like I said, it's...
Now, there's 4 movies ahead of this that I think that he should have won Best Actor for.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not necessarily putting that movie down at all. I mean, that's still a great movie in any retrospective. Sometimes it may lose its importance. Yeah.
Because it's kind of I wouldn't say it has never gotten forgotten, but it's just like, okay.
Because I mean, it's
the easy go-to one. I feel like for him.
Not only that, but it's a very, like you said, it's very easily making fun of movie just because of the content and all that.
Not only that, but also every single comedy pop culture show has made fun of it as well. Like, I'm sure Simpsons,
Family Guy,
everything.
Probably South Park, I'm pretty sure.
That's going to be my number 5. I think, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, I gave that a 9. So, Zach, what do you got at number 5?
Number 5, honestly, Johnny, this was probably thanks to you, because I rewatched this last night, Philadelphia. I hadn't seen it since high school, and fun is not the right word to use for this movie, but I enjoyed watching this. Like, I forgot how good it was, the performances, Tom Hanks, and probably even more with Denzel, if anyone. It's just an incredible film.
He's powerful. Not to mention the if you had a movie like that today, where 2 actors like that, Tom Hanks and Denzel, got together. Mm-hmm. I mean, name it.
It's almost kind of outdoing each other for that matter.
Yeah.
What do you got at number? Well, any more thoughts? I'm sure I'll talk about it.
I'll just say that it's just really weird. The guy who directed Silence of the Lambs, this was his follow-up.
Yeah. Ed, what about you?
I wouldn't really say that. He loves his close-ups.
Yeah.
Number 5, I'm gonna have to go ahead and put The Green Mile. You know, it's really a cool thing just to see how gentle a great big man can be, as well as, you know, how scared some guards can be at the same single time. And when you've got, you know, Tom Hanks, I don't know why I just said Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks playing, you know, one of the guards, pretty much the head guard. It's been a while since I've actually seen that movie, to be fully honest, but it's just kind of cool to see the working off of each other of that movie, you know. But
number 4 for me is going to be The Terminal. I rewatched it this week, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, Tom Hanks. I mean, based off of a true story.
Directed by Spielberg.
Yeah, which that's going to be in my conversation a little bit later on. Wow, I forgot how good he is.
I really wanted to rewatch that before this, but
I forgot how good he is, and if it's, I don't have too many movies of this, but if it's something that I can sit there and be like, you know, right when you finish it, you want to rewatch it, and I'm like, it's good. I forgot how bad they treated him in this movie. Like, if this, it says it's based off of true events, and I'm really like, I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words because I really thought that I wasn't gonna like it this rewatch, but it's one of those things that. But yeah, not to mention he really sounds Russian. What the name that the country he's from, some kind of like Russian company or something like that. But yeah, and then Stanley Tucci's in it as well.
Yeah.
And he's a dick in that movie.
Yeah.
He's a big dick in that movie, but it's good. I think he should. I don't think he got nominated for that, but I think
it got the movie. Well, I wouldn't say it got panned, but it didn't get like as good reviews as you would think.
No, but I think it holds up so many years later that I feel like he should have gotten nominated for it. It's a damn good performance.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4 is The Terminal. Zach, what about you?
Number 4, I'm not going to spend too much time on just because probably we'll talk about it here in a minute, and then we did a whole episode on it, so go check that out in the archives. Number 4 for me is Saving Private Ryan. What's your number 4?
I'll lead in. Saving Private Ryan, number 4 as well. I mean, you know, when you give a performance with guys that are going to be known later on, you know, such as, I mean, just for instance, Vin Diesel is one, you know.
Matt Damon.
Exactly. You know, quite a few different guys, and you're basically the lead of those gentlemen, not only as your character, but as the actor, for that matter. You got a big role to fill, and I think those are great shoes for him to walk in. Oh, yeah. So.
Like you said, we did a whole episode on it, so you can go back and check it out at Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, and I believe it's on Anchor.
Yep.
Number 3 for me is, and I'm surprised that it only got one Oscar nomination, but it's Sully from 2017. That's another movie that I think he did superb in. Had a perfect cast around him, had a perfect director around him, and I don't know, man. I feel like he got snubbed again. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later on. But number 3 for me is Sully. Zach, what do you got at 3?
Number 3 is I honestly think my top 3 could be switched any way around just because how much I love these 3 films and his performances in them. But just because number 3 is just such a fun film to watch, but like sometimes you want a little bit more drama or intensity when you're watching Tom Hanks. But number 3 for me is Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Spielberg again. Basically, Tom Hanks is chasing after Leo because he's like one of the best con artists ever. Leo plays like a pilot, a doctor, a lawyer, and I mean Hanks finally catches on, and it's basically a game of cat and mouse. What's your number 3, Ed?
Number 3, I'm not going to go ahead and include Forrest Gump in my lineup just because I knew one, if not both of y'all would. So, definitely a good movie. I definitely love to watch it. I'm going to go ahead and put Castaway in at my number 3. It's kind of a hard thing to act when it's just you, let alone when you just get a ball with a bloody handprint of your own to talk to as your companion.
Is it softball or soccer ball?
Volleyball.
Volleyball.
So, and then to go through all the trials, tribulations, and all that good stuff of, I forget how long he was on the island, supposedly, but, for years at least. And to live basically off of packages that were on the plane you were on. And then it's kind of a thing of exploring how life would be for a little bit once he came back home. It's just an all-around great tale. So if you love Tom Hanks and all that, I'd definitely go check out Castaway.
Yeah,
if you have
Castaway is one of his best performances. My number 2 is going to be a two-way tie in between a film that we all talked about and we had an episode about, which is Saving Private Ryan, and then I guess real number 3 or number 2 would be Captain Phillips. I rewatched that this morning for this episode, and golly, how he didn't even get nominated for any kind of award for that performance. First off, right after he gets rescued and they take him into the back at the end of the movie, I've generally felt bad for that guy, and I generally was like, he needs help. Somebody help this guy. And I was forgetting that I'm watching a movie.
It'll pop up later, so I'll say when I think about it.
Yeah, and I'll wait and just talk to you about it. So Saving Private Ryan and Captain Phillips. Zach, what do you got at number 2?
Number 2. All of us can agree that this film probably had a bit, just not only an impact, but we just enjoyed watching it as kids. Number 2 for me is Toy Story, the original Toy Story. While I think all the Toy Story films are great, including 4, I don't have a problem with 4 at all. But that first film is just perfect. I think it's one of the best animated films that we have in our lineup of everything, and it's on Disney Plus, so go check it out.
Well, I guess that's going to lead into mine as well. So, I wonder if we're going to have the same number 1. Probably not, but, my number 2 as well is the original Toy Story. Growing up and all that, even till today, kids with toys, dolls, action figures, whatever you want to call them, you always put a story or a voice or an action to that specific one or those specific group of, So for them to actually bring, Rex and Slinky and Woody and Buzz and Jesse and all of them throughout the series, for that matter, Mr. Potato Head, the Army Men, and everybody.
Stinky Pete.
Yeah, that too. It's always really cool just to see the imagination that can go on, for that matter. And, it kind of probably made a lot of kids feel, better about how they actually interacted, played, or whatever have you with their toys.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of sparked the imagination a little bit again.
I think I kind of took the words out of my mouth. I think it kind of like reignited what imagination could be.
Because, that's the thing, IQ is just one thing, but don't get me wrong, intelligence can only take you so far. If you have no creativity, no imagination, you're an idiot. Because you can be the smartest man on the world or the smartest woman on the world, but if you have no creativity, you're just going to be able to read it by a book. You're not going to be able to expand upon.
Right.
So I think imagination is a great tool, but that is my number 2 as well.
Number 1 for me is going to be Philadelphia. Man, I can't say any more about this film. Not only is it the performance, I think this is Tom Hanks, probably one of his top 1 or 2 performances of all time. To me, it's way better than Forrest Gump. Like, as far as him just sitting there and acting. Go ahead.
I think it's just more of a powerful performance, just because of not only him, but the the subject matter.
I'm glad we all three got to sit and watch it this week. My first big scene that stands out to me in that movie is a scene where he has to go to Denzel for the first time, and he tells him what's going on, and he's like, how many lawyers did you see before me? And it's powerful, and it probably didn't help any that I watched it, I think, right around the time that Bohemian Rhapsody came out.
Yeah.
Because I think that was like it was like a 8 month or something. I don't know. It's like a
tribute.
Yeah.
To
So plus it was the 20th. I think it was the 20th anniversary of Philadelphia or the 30th. But
Do you have the 4K version?
Yeah. But the week it came out, it was I've been looking for it forever, and it wasn't on Blu-ray. So
I think I remember in it may have been the Bohemian Rhapsody episode that I think you bought the 4K. You watched it like 3 times in a row or something.
No, I watched it, and then as soon as it was over, I rewatched it. I just pushed play on it again. And then the opening with that Bruce Springsteen song, I ate it up. That's just my favorite movies, my favorite Tom Hanks performance. And honestly, before I watched it this year, it wasn't, I'd never seen it. So when something can live up, 15 years later, or 20, how long old it is. It's
about 26 years.
It's pretty old, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then Denzel's in it too, and I'm like, golly.
He got no recognition whatsoever.
Nope.
Which we'll talk about that.
But yeah, that's my number one. Zach, what do you got at number one?
Number one for me, Johnny, you had it in your list. Number one for me is Captain Phillips. I think it's going to be hard because I haven't seen A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, but I think that you think Philadelphia is his best performance. I think this is his best performance. Like you said, that last 10 minutes where they rescue him and they take him into the med bay and everything, just so proud. You want to cry for him almost. It's just a horrifying experience.
Not even mentioning him trying to go ahead and right when he notices the thing on the Doppler, or the radar, or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting there. He's like, I don't like that. And then as soon as he starts, getting his crew ready, you can tell he's genuinely worried.
Yeah.
Some movies you're watching and you're like, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
This, I'm just sitting here I feel like I'm going through that experience with him. And every time we talk about what a movie does for you, if it gets you excited or if it gets you nervous, that's what good performance is about.
Well, not only that, even though if it's based off a true story, I really didn't know the whole story of it, so I didn't know how it. I know obviously I knew he lived, but I didn't know what happened in between.
Oh yeah.
And then once the Somalian pirates get on board, it goes from 0 to 100 just like that. And the co-star Bakad, his co-star that plays the main pirate, he did a phenomenal job of able to stand his ground against Tom Hanks.
Yeah, what boggles me, and obviously the movie was 2013, but I think the actual incident was 2009.
Yeah.
Why was there no guns on board? Why was nobody there to defend for themselves? Obviously, 10 years later, I'm pretty sure that these kind of
yeah.
But I'm still thinking this was only in 2009. Why was there not?
Well, and the thing is like they say in the movie, this is they're looking at the map. It's like, yeah, we're going around the Horn of Africa, and it's main territory for Somalian pirates.
I was doing some looking up on this movie when I was watching it, like I always do, and it said that Captain Phillips actually, after the incident, got sued by one of the workers on the boat because he didn't get he didn't give the workers a heads up that how dangerous the actual area was.
Well, my response to that is what you're getting yourself into. It's just what?
And he says it in the movie. And then some of the coworkers were like, I didn't sign up for the Navy. I didn't sign up for the. He's like, no, but you knew what kind of waters we were getting into. It's not like you knew. It's not like we were going through fucking Disney World.
Exactly.
So, Ed, number one for you.
A lot of people may disagree with me on this, but this is a personal list. This is a thing that I think is, or I feel is my favorite Tom Hanks rendition. I would say the Da Vinci Code. The verbiage, the use of mythological history and all that different stuff, how seamlessly and perfectly he just comes off with that is, to me, great. And I love Inferno, I love Angels and Demons for that matter. But going through Da Vinci Code, I thought, I don't know, there's just something about it that always allures me. And, even with, Ewan McGregor playing in number 2, Inferno, or no, that's in Angels and Demons, isn't it? And then Inferno, which is the newest of the trilogy, for that matter. But
It's pretty good.
yeah, I was about to say, I just love it overall, all 3 of them. But yeah,
it's just
number 1 is great.
I mean, Da Vinci Code is just a fun puzzle movie. Just to figure out what goes with what.
I mean, yeah, it's basically given to you, but it's kind of fun to go and see the lines. Literally the Rose line, but to see the lines connected.
Do you remember how big of a deal that movie was when it came out?
Yeah, and I mean, there's all kinds of, and I mean, a lot of it is actually well researched, for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's true on how whatever have you, but a lot of it is well researched in different mythological places, as well as symbolic nature of or not symbolic nature, but symbolic history. For that matter.
Well, what I love about it, I haven't read the book. I haven't really read any of his books, but Dan Brown, the ones that I have attempted to read, he says in the very first page before the chapter, it's just everything in this book is real, whether it's a place, a human, a person, a location, and obviously this is a work of fiction, but everything that is mentioned is a real thing.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can draw lines and draw. It's to me, it's a theological book.
Yeah.
And, maybe the entirety is real. However, some of the points that they make and connections and all that may not be the most notable and sincere and all that, but it's still cool to get the mind playing with itself, basically toying. Because, like I said earlier, creativity and imagination are a key to intelligence. And, I mean, yeah. So, that would be my number 1.
Awesome.
And this week's episode is all about Tom Hanks.
I don't care. Man means nothing to me. It's just a name. But if going to Ramel and finding him so he can go home, if that earns me the right to get back to my wife, well, then that's my mission.
Rogers Hornsby was my manager, and he called me a talking pile of pig shit. And that was when my parents drove all the way down from Michigan to see me play the game. And did I cry? No! And you know why?
No.
Because there's no crying in baseball. There's no crying in baseball! No crying!
Oh. Hey.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
I'm gonna tell you, yeah, fucking dorky. Fucking deli.
So, guys, this is Tom Hanks. Thomas Jeffrey Hanks was born in Concord, California in July 9th of the year 1956. Guys, usually we'll go around table and say first, thoughts of the movie and what was it like revisiting for this episode. But on today's episode, I'm going to ask you one question, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to mind.
Yes,
and
Tom Hanks is my dad.
That's the first thing you think of when you think of somebody as the actor like Tom Hanks.
Toy Story.
Toy Story?
Yeah.
I want to talk to you guys about that, because we're in an age where, these CGI movies or these animation movies are coming out almost every month now. There's at least one. But I'm talking to you guys about Tom freaking Hanks here, and you guys are bringing up animation movies to me.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. That's one of the first that, especially persons our age, got to truly understand that is him who is behind the mic. So, I mean, a lot of us grew up knowing Toy Story, knowing Woody and Buzz and, Bo Peep and Rex and all of them. So, I mean, personally, however, The Da Vinci Code is my favorite Tom Hanks movie. It's not the only one I know. It's not the only one I've watched and all that, of course.
Right, but when I say Tom Hanks, you think of Toy Story.
Automatically. Just because that's the first interaction or first thing I've ever understood that he was a part of.
Zach?
You know, as much as I hate to say it, the first thing I think of is Forrest Gump. You know, I know it's like a stereotype. You almost
It's one of his more famous.
But I mean, like, I know he's done other things, but the first thing I think of is Forrest Gump. You know, and while I think his like we said, I think his performance in Philadelphia is way more powerful than Forrest Gump. It's just, I think it's a feel good film in some ways, while Philadelphia is very like intense and dramatic.
I will say that the funnest thing about Forrest Gump is seeing him in the actual historical events.
Yeah. Well, when he goes ahead and it happens, and he,
the
awesome.
first thing I think about is Big, and that's.
I've only seen that movie once, to be honest, so that's why it really doesn't come to mind.
I mean, I've only seen it just a few times, handful of times, and that's the first movie I've seen him in. You know, this big old little kid, going around toy stores and playing laser tag with somebody, and then I remember how sad it was in the end, but I didn't think it was that sad. But then on the rewatch, I'm like, you know what? He's making a good living. He's got a great apartment in New York City. He's got a
bunch of arcade games
got a
in
chick.
his apartment.
He only had the pinball machine. He's got a really hot chick, and I'm like, the only thing, I'm like, single life in New York City, would I want to go back to being a kid? So I don't know. It was kind of different, kind of difficult. Like, I don't know what you would choose, but yeah, that's the first thing I think of as Big. Are you guys surprised he's only got two Oscars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a lot of pivotal roles, or at least been, great in pivotal roles, but I don't know. Is it the fact, kind of like Philadelphia, acting against another great actor, that it kind of overshadows each other?
At the time, Denzel wasn't considered a great actor. It's one of his first earlier roles. Same thing with Tom Hanks. I think, what did he win first for Philadelphia? I think he won first for Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philadelphia was 93.
Yeah, because Philadelphia was 93 and
Forrest Gump was 94.
Silence of the Lambs won that year.
So at that point,
Schindler's List. I'm sorry, Schindler's List.
So
won.
at that point, they were really just almost just starting out.
Right.
But Tom Hanks. Yeah, Tom Hanks was the more seasoned actor at the time, because he got nominated already for Big, and then he didn't get nominated for A League of Their Own, but that's another movie I think of right off the bat is A League of Their Own. So, and it's that line that we heard at the beginning of the episode. There's no crying in baseball. You guys have any non-favorite Tom Hanks movies?
I haven't seen it, so I can't really say that I don't like it, but the one that comes to mind is Cloud Atlas. This is on I have this digitally. I don't have a hard copy of it, but A Hologram for a King. Have you seen that movie? Mm-hmm. It's not terrible. I enjoyed it, but it's one of his lower rated movies on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. Another one for me is, I know it's not really, it was critically received, was Charlie Wilson's War.
It's all right.
I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through, to be honest.
And then a lot of people don't like Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close.
Well, he's only in it for 10 minutes. So.
Vader was only in Star Wars for 8 minutes in the first one.
Fucking guy brings up Darth Vader.
Oh man.
But I mean, do you think that in the age of social media and in the age of really big visual effects and CGI driven films, do you think, quote unquote, the movie star exists anymore? Because I still consider Tom Hanks a movie star, but not what he was. I don't think he is what he is. I don't think Tom Hanks is what he was in the 2000s and the 90s.
Well, I mean, you're still going to have, several different styles, even the big ones, such as contemporary and classical CGI, different stuff like that.
What do you mean classical and CGI?
Classical, more like prop effects and different stuff like that. Realism, more dramatic
talking about
roles.
Actors?
Well, I mean, okay, as in movie types. So, I mean, or movie, well, maybe not just movie types, but more the fact of
Oh, you mean prosthetics and animatronics and everything?
Basically, because I mean, if you're going off of maybe CGI or what they're starting to do with kind of digitally resurrecting some actors and actresses or celebrities for that matter. I mean, you've got to go ahead and think. You've got so many different ones, and I mean, okay, I don't think there's many households that don't understand or know who Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, or Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Aniston, Tom Hanks, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, all those guys are. So I mean, if you're saying that like the movie star is kind of it's never going to go away. People are in fact, I think it's grown so much more that the only hard thing about finding someone is finding a works that you truly like, just that, I mean, like Adam Sandler
hold on a second. When Zach says movie star, I think of household names.
Right.
I think of Will Smith or
Is everybody gonna know who Vin Diesel is, or is Paul Walker? No. Is everybody gonna know who Adam Sandler is? No. If I had to pick some household names, I don't even know if
Sandler a household name though. I would.
I don't, because look at today's generation. No. I mean, what's the best movie he's been in the last 10 years? Or how much money does his... Oh, they're going to be like, oh, talk about that guy who does that stupid Dracula Kids movie. That's not what he has, like, grown to be this day and age.
Not, but I mean...
But as far as household names for this generation or movie stars today, I would have to go with people like Brad Pitt, Matt Damon,
Tom Cruise,
Robert Downey Jr.
Downey Jr. People are so... People are so brought up in today's Marvel movies. Yeah. If the movie doesn't make $1 billion, or I guess what, if it's not trending worldwide, they're not a movie star.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I would probably even say Chris Evans. A name you guys completely fucking bounced on is The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson definitely, but I mean, if you've watched WWE, he's been in for over 20 years, as in stardom.
He's been an actor longer than he was a wrestler, though.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, he's been in. Well, I mean, that's where he gained a lot of his fame, though. Being The Rock or People's Champ or however you want to call him. Because I mean, he started in the Rocky Maivia, of course, and then Nation of Domination kind of deal, and going from there.
But he's I would today's movie star. I mean, I would have to say Dwayne Johnson.
Because I think he is the highest paid actor at the moment.
Yeah.
So
does all his own stunts, most of them. He's right up there with Tom Cruise.
Yeah. I mean, guy's not an idiot. I wouldn't do every single thing because your marketability and your profitability goes ahead and depends on what you can and can't do. So.
I think another one is, while I think her career's kind of slowed down, is Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah,
I think she's a movie star.
Yeah, she has slowed down a ton, especially after Red Sparrow.
People said she slowed down, but it's one of those things that she's doing more artistic, critically acclaimed films. She's not in the Hollywood blockbusters. Right. Does that automatically mean that you're slowing down? No, it just means you're doing more smart movies. I mean, you can do the easy payday stuff like.
Well, I mean, for instance, Hunger Games. I mean, it kind of got her start, but still, Yeah. I mean, it may not have been her ultimate start, but
I mean, it didn't get her a start. It got her a payday.
Rose her to fame because then she was known.
So I mean, just like Robert Downey Jr. did. How many people knew who the fuck he was before Iron Man? Nobody. Nobody remembered him for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Or Chaplin.
Nobody. Chaplin. It was Iron Man. Got him his payday. Got him his big start. Boom. And now in 10 years. People going to remember from Iron Man or Dr. Dolittle? Because I have a feeling that movie's going to fucking bomb.
Or, Sherlock Holmes. I mean, no. This guy. He's just like, but I mean, going back to the original question, I don't think that... I do think the trending thing is kind of a more he said, she said kind of deal. Because I do think it can go ahead...
But trending is like... you can actually see who's trending.
Right, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's more of a thing of that's kind of a.
It's pretty much who's Googled the most.
Yeah, but I mean, you can crash and burn very quickly
Zach said,
off that.
If there's a movie star, pick your top two. I'd pick what? I would honestly pick maybe like I said, Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans is one.
I do Tom Hanks and Robert Downey Jr.
Does that mean are we doing at the moment or
just yours? When you think of movie stars today in today's world, who do you think of?
Robert Downey Jr. and then Jesse Eisenberg right now. I mean, mainly due to freaking Zombieland 2, but I mean, still, guys played, a few Lex Luthor for that matter, so a few different things. But I mean, yeah.
So none of us picked Tom Hanks.
You picked Tom
did.
Hanks.
I was about to say you just did.
No, I did Tom Cruise.
Oh, I swear you said
Yeah, you
Hanks.
said Tom Hanks.
Oh, did I say Tom Hanks?
I was like, I swear you said Tom Hanks.
I meant to say Tom Cruise and Robert Downey Jr.
But even though a lot of these movie stars, man, that's another thing. Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks.
Last week he was Tom Hanks. This week he's Flanks. That's another thing. Like Tom Hanks gets kind of a little bit of flack for, is because do you guys think he does too many movies? I mean, he'll do maybe like one a year.
Not necessarily, no.
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 A lot of actors, we talked about it with Leo last week. Leo does like
one
every 4 years
or something. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like Tom Hanks this year he had Toy Story 4, and he's gonna have A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
I heard he's also in another biopic called Greyhound coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe either next year.
I don't know what it's about, but I heard about that.
I wonder if it's about the Greyhound buses. I'm just kidding.
Anyway, no.
And you can send all that hate mail at Ed.
Silverscreen84 at yahoo.com. That is the official email that I've set up for this podcast. So go ahead and let the hate flow through you.
What do you think with Tom Hanks, obviously, but what do you think appeals to you? What appeals him to you? Is it just like his acting? Is it just like you feel like he's just a nice guy, or what do you think?
I do feel like he's probably a decent guy in real life or in his personal life.
You just want to go have like a beer with him or something?
Maybe not. Maybe a decently deep conversation. I mean, don't get me wrong. It wouldn't have to be over that. Honestly, I feel like the guy would more do like tea or something. I don't know why that stands out, but I feel like The Rock would probably have a few brews and probably get a pretty rambunctious night going if he got too lit.
Throw you on top of a table.
Maybe rock bottom me through a table. Yeah, probably. Do the people's elbow right after. But I think when I think Tom Hanks, I think of serious roles. I think of roles that have true stories behind them.
You said it last week, Zach, with Leo. You know that you're gonna, whether you agree or disagree with the movie, you're gonna get a quality film.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way with Tom Hanks. When I hear Tom Hanks, I know I'm gonna get one of the best performances in a movie that I've seen that calendar year.
Yeah.
Guys, throw all the awards away. Like, I don't think it even matters anymore. Like we talked about a few episodes ago. To me, they're just paperweights, especially nowadays. Because half of this country doesn't see the movies that get nominated anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, like, Tom Hanks has more of a draw than Guillermo del Toro or something like that.
Now we're talking like straight draws. That's another thing. Like
like if the Academy came to you and said, Johnny, we want you to pick out of if you had to pick between The Joker, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which we haven't seen, but I'm just trying to give an example, and The Irishman. Which one if you had to pick right now, what was the best picture?
The only one I've seen so far is Joker.
But just say you've seen all three of them.
I mean, that's hard. I mean, because technically, literally, I haven't.
I mean, I feel like if you have, I feel like you'd probably lean more towards The Irishman than The Joker.
Now hold on a second. The Irishman is 2 weeks long. That's a long-ass movie.
Oh, I mean, you never know.
3.5 hours. I know that was a terrible example. I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to come up with. You're gonna pick more name recognition than non-name recognition.
That would almost be like if I was gonna go see something like Joker or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Or
okay. Here's a good example: Joker or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Right off the top of the hand, I'd go see Joker.
Joker. What about you, Ed?
I mean, unfortunately, I have not seen Joker yet.
So see, like with Ed, you'd have to say something like Spider-Man: Far From Home or Endgame.
Probably Spider-Man: Far From Home, honestly. I mean, don't get me wrong, Avengers Endgame, great movie, awesome movie. But personally, I've always liked Spider-Man since I've seen Tobey Maguire don the mask and tights, whatever.
Right.
Honestly, I like that one a little bit more out of all three of them, though.
That'd be like, well, with you, Zach, like right off the top of my hand, Ford versus Ferrari or the Peanut Butter Falcon? Yeah. Because there you have a movie that not a lot of people have seen, and then on the other hand, you have a movie that probably, half this country is going to go see.
It was #1 at the box office, so yeah. Honestly, probably the Peanut Butter Falcon, just because it didn't get... the funny thing is, a little side tangent, the funny thing is like, I went and bought it this weekend. It was sold out in almost every store I went to.
Really?
Yeah, it was sold out at Target. There was only 2 left at Best Buy. There was no one in the theater that saw it. So how did it...
I'll tell you how that happens. Ben, I've worked in, you guys have worked in the movie theater. Well, I've worked in the movie theater too, but coming from a former manager who had to order these movies for these stores, when I worked at FYE, the managers ordered what movies they got. So if it's not going to be a big seller, you order 2 of those movies. So Target probably ordered maybe four movies of the Peanut Butter Falcon.
But that's the thing, though. How can you get
when I got mine at Walmart?
Yeah.
That was the only copy there.
But that's the thing, though. How does a store decide hey, you're going to get 4 copies of the Peanut Butter Falcon, but you're going to get a gazillion copies of Endgame?
Because Endgame made just over $3 billion. Had multiple people.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm terrible at comparisons tonight.
Well, it's not only that. It's no different than, am I going to order 4 cases of Dr. Pepper for my store, or am I going to order 4 cases of root beer? Which one's going to sell the most?
Right.
So
Monster
again,
Rockstar.
I think it goes back to name recognition.
Yeah.
Even though Shia LaBeouf, quote unquote, is not. I think everyone knows who he is, but it's compared to Matt Damon, you're going to go see Ford versus Ferrari.
Just like the movie. What's the movie that it hit a few years ago? I think it's the one with Jennifer. Another name. You talked to me about it. Is it Ben?
Ben is Back.
Ben is Back.
Yeah, incredible film.
Yeah, that's another movie that the quality's good, the story is good. I would buy it again in a heartbeat. I have it again, I have it.
But then again, you run into promotional factor right there too.
Well, yeah, but that's also how much money a movie makes at the box office. If the Peanut Butter Falcon only grosses $2 million at the box office, it's not going to get Blu-ray commercials. It's not going to get any kind of promotional posters. It's not going to get a poster at the start of Walmart.
Well, it was just like we were talking about the Iron Giant. It was just nobody heard about the film, and yet it's just now this cult classic.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things.
If Endgame makes, $3 billion at the box office, it's gonna get the posters. It's also gonna get the 5 gazillion copies in the Blu-ray section.
And all the toys and all that different stuff. But if we're talking movies none of us have seen yet, Star Wars Episode 9, Jumanji 2. You know what I mean? You've got one of the highest paid actors this year, actually maybe of the last 2 or 3 years for that matter, versus one of the highest grossing franchises over 40, 50 years now. So which one would you go see first? You can only see one. The other one does not exist. Which one would you see, John?
No, the other one already doesn't exist. I'm going to go see Star Wars.
Oh my God.
How Jumanji looks fun, and I enjoyed the first one. I don't think it deserves...
But now it's got Danny DeVito in the cast. I know he probably doesn't. He probably brings, but not.
I saw the trailer for that. I'm just like, oh, God, I don't know. But it's $1 billion, and it's a name recognition. Jumanji, whether you've seen the Robin Williams one or now the Dwayne Johnson one.
But see, I think now that Dwayne Johnson and it brought in all that money, now Jumanji is going to become a franchise.
Yeah, I know.
But
that sounds like the most depressing ever.
Going back to Tom Hanks, I think that like how you said name recognition, I think he deserves it, and I think that as long as he's putting movies out, it doesn't matter what it is. I think his last, I'm going to say 10, I've went and seen in the theater, and it's not because that looks good. It's because, ooh, look, Tom Hanks is in the movie.
Well, right. That's even just like Martin Scorsese film or Steven Spielberg film. You may not know what the hell it is. Like Dark Tower. probably didn't know what it is, but Stephen King book. Oh, cool. You know, this might be good. This might be bad, but I'll go try it out, kind of deal.
See, that's another. So, that's a good analogy. You said Dark Tower, but see, you said Stephen King. Sure. That's not what led me to go see it.
No.
My whole thing was Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
I think Matthew McConaughey is one of those actors now that secretly is in my level as far as like, oh, he's in it, I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah.
But that's due to other circumstances in his life too, along with your life.
Well, no.
I think it's just like, you know, he's won an Oscar with Dallas Buyers Club, and I think
he's the world's biggest Texas fan. But it's not only due to that. It's movies like A Time to Kill, or The Lincoln Lawyer. You know,
Mud or Dallas Buyers Club.
When you put out, you know, multiple good quality films, that's gonna make me want to go see that movie. Like Ford versus Ferrari, I want to go see it because hey, the last few Matt Damon movies or Christian Bale movies have been off the charts. I want to go see that movie.
Right. So, yeah, but I mean, there's a ton of good movies coming out soon. There's a ton of good movies that Tom Hanks has done in his entire career, for that matter, up to this date. And I mean, I can't wait to see, because I mean, even on the commercials, if the movie's half as good as the commercials,
what makes Ed want to go spend $12 to go see a movie?
Honestly, it kind of depends. Truthfully, I like comedies mostly.
If time, money, or work was not an option, like if that wasn't in your way, what makes Ed want to go see a movie?
Okay,
do you pay attention to reviews?
Not really. Honestly, I do.
So if you have the money, like I said, money, time, none of that matters.
Got free tickets.
Free tickets, unlimited. Would you go spend time to go see Gemini Man?
Yeah, I would. Honestly, it looks interesting. But I mean, if you put that up against, say, How High 2 or...
There's a How High 2?
No, I'm just saying if that was, you know, or
well, let's say another actor was in it. Let's say Will Smith isn't in it. Let's say, you know...
Let's just say that he did Independence Day 2. Would you have seen that?
Yeah. I mean, easily. I mean, I think it would have been
atrocious, but anyway,
a bit better.
Hopefully,
to me, for that matter.
Are you talking about what, Independence Day 2? Did you see the director came out and flat out blamed Will Smith for that's the reason it bombed?
Well, obviously you didn't put a pitch out there for him. Good enough,
he did.
So
Will Smith just chose Suicide Squad over.
Well,
Independence Day 2.
Obviously the pitch was better for Suicide Squad, so that's not really that's your problem, dude. Sorry. You know, plus then you go ahead and disrespect the hell out of him by killing his character off like he's a piece of trash. So, okay, you were salty. So, bye. You know, I mean, that's kind of like coming out with a Forrest Gump 2, Forrest Gump Jr. or something like that. And then, you know...
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying. And then, you know, Tom Hanks was kind of like, okay, I left the character where I wanted. I don't want to... Well, this one's a... This guy is a orphan now.
So Ed's more more loyalty towards the actor.
Kinda,
like,
yeah.
You know, Will Smith, he might go check it out. Zach, what about you? Like, do you sit there and obviously, I don't know if you'll read a review before you go see the movie, or do you try to stay away from reviews or the trailers? How do you pick, you know, what you're gonna go see? Is it name recognition like with Tom Hanks? Like, let's say
Tom Cruise was in the movie.
Tom Cruise is playing Mr. Rogers. Would you go see it?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to see that. Mr. Rogers just does a lot of running through the movie. You know, honestly,
jumps plane to plane. Right. It's his Navy SEAL days. You know, that'd be badass actually.
He's just holding the puppets like, oh, you run!
No, there is a video out, and since we're speaking about Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers. Have you seen the video or have either of you seen the video of the actual Mr. Rogers doing the first and the very last time he got to do the whole intro, the song and all that?
Oh, yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor? Yeah. Oh my God! If that doesn't bring even a little bit of like sorrow to your heart, it's just like holy shit.
I kind of want to save that discussion for next week.
Oh yeah.
Because I read an entire book about Mr. Rogers recently, and it's just interesting. But yeah,
I'm probably gonna rewatch the documentary before.
I need to
go see that.
Do you have it on?
It's on HBO now.
Do you have it on? Oh no, you don't have a copy of it. Okay.
But it's on HBO.
I have it. Just my coworker borrowed it, and I was like, damn it. But yeah, going back to your question, Johnny, some of it is name recognition. We saw when I went and saw Ford versus Ferrari, there was like almost every single trailer that I saw, I really wanted to see. There was
It's that time of year.
Dark Waters. Have you heard about this with Mark Ruffalo? It looks really good. 1917 looks really good.
I haven't seen the trailer with Mark Ruffalo, but I heard about it.
I saw Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler, and it looks really good. It's just, but I've kind of gotten. This is gonna sound really like uptight and everything. I've gotten more into like theory. No, I've gotten more into like more better storytelling, like Knives Out, which comes out next week. I want to see that Queen and Slim, which is kind of like
I want to see it too.
The Bonnie and Clyde
Knives
story.
Out though, if you want to borrow it, I have Clue. It's right over there. It's just the same. It's the same thing.
I know. But I mean, like that movie's loaded with people.
Oh yeah, I think
Daniel Craig,
honestly,
Chris
it
Evans.
doesn't have Chris Evans.
I think Knives Out is going to be the.
I think it's going to be the surprise of the year.
I think it's going to be a really good film.
But I mean, on top of that, like sometimes I will pay attention to different ideas, different stories, and all that stuff. I know this isn't an entirely different story, but it's just like my most recent theater watch of Countdown.
Which, if you want to hear Ed completely bash a movie, and that was something we don't do on this episode.
I didn't completely bash it.
That might be a fun bonus episode.
I said it was.
Well, no, you don't have to. We don't have to do. He did it on last week.
I said it. The acting was decent. The acting, the idea was.
He's had a little too much to drink. The acting was not decent.
I did not. I haven't had a single ounce. So, no, it's just like that led me because I was like, okay, cool. Maybe this will be kind of nice, a little fresh. Okay, I get this.
I think I've seen better acting in pornos than in Countdown.
That's been Johnny's 5 cents of the day.
But, I mean, it's just, I was allured to the idea of that. I was like, okay, cool, let's see how this, goes out. And it did.
I'm pretty sure it's not. I don't know.
You watch it, you'd be like, it's one of the best things ever.
Watch Countdown next year. Black Friday is going to be $3.
I know.
Because that's how I got like Unfriended and movies like that.
One that we've talked about before off mic that I personally did not and that you did was It Follows. Personally, I did not like It Follows. It just because to me I'm just like an STD but in real form. What I mean?
It's in ghost form.
Yeah.
Right. But or corporeal form then. But personally I didn't like it. You know what I mean? I didn't like it. And then you surprised me a bit when you said you did. So what actually made it to where you did?
It Follows is unique. Okay. It Follows is it's different. It's not your basic horror movie where the dumb bitch is going to get stabbed, or,
the jock is just going to try and...
Or it's not a possession kind of... It is, but it's not...
I think you just hit the nail on the head, Johnny. It's unique storytelling. Yeah. I want to see something different. I want to see something
That's why I like both of his movies, Jordan Peele. Those movies are amazing because there's something different.
Yeah.
And I think if you rewatched It Follows with a completely open mind... I think
you'd really like it.
I don't think you would. I'm not that optimistic like you are. I don't think he'd really like it, but I think it would be from I don't like it to I think that's what it would go to. Yeah. But it's just because it's one of those. It's just unique. It's completely different. And I think if you went in knowing what you were getting this time, I think you'd be like, maybe the expectations were too high when you going into it.
I mean, because
you probably heard a lot of people talk about it, and then the trailer did look interesting, like they always do, and then you probably went in like, really.
Yeah, I mean, I did go ahead and expect a bit more, and I think that's the same thing with Countdown for that matter.
That's why here at this podcast we tell you to go in with an open mind.
But
that should be the slogan.
Yeah, well, I mean, it kind of has been, for a while now.
Like on Hannibal, when that guy had an open mind.
Oh my god.
He was eating his brain.
I hate
literally
so
and
much.
figuratively.
Oh, he didn't have Chianti though, or a nice one at least.
This episode has gone all over the place. We're supposed to sit here and talk about Tom Hanks. Let's talk about some Tom Hanks
Well,
movies,
I mean,
though.
Tom Hanks is all over the place, you know.
Do you have his filmography pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we said, he's only won the 2 awards, but his filmography is fun. It's not like complete, weird.
I think
He doesn't do weird movies.
Other than Cloud Atlas, but again, I haven't seen it, so I couldn't tell you.
I'm gonna do normally we start from the beginning. We're gonna go backwards, and we'll kind of do a. If you say something, you say over this mic so we all can hear. No. Let's go back. Usually we'll start from the beginning and work our way up, but we're gonna go to the back. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood comes out Friday. It's next week's episode, and he's already getting a bunch of Oscar buzz around it. Toy Story 4. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna say the name, and we can either talk about it or you guys kind of throw out your star rating.
Okay.
So,
Toy
Story 4.
I
gave it an 8.
I don't know. I've not seen it yet.
Ed, homework. You got Disney Plus.
I'll do.
Damn.
I'll do 8.5.
The Circle. Emma Watson. Tom Hanks. You hated it?
I thought it was awful.
I gave it a 7.
I gave it a 4.
Golly. The Post.
I really like The Post.
Meryl Streep. Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I'd say 8.
8?
I'll say
8. I gave it a 9. Hologram for a King.
I haven't seen it.
I gave it a 7.
What's that movie even about?
It's
not a king that gets a hologram,
A failed American.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but
this is one of those times where you want to go down the street, running as fast as you can, just screaming gibberish out of your mouth, butt ass naked, and hope that somebody hits you.
So my usual Saturday morning.
A failed American sales rep looks to recoup his losses by traveling to Saudi Arabia and selling his company's product to a wealthy monarch.
So I wonder if he makes holograms.
It's on the Vudu account if you want to watch it. I gave it a 7. Inferno.
8.5.
His latest Robert Langdon.
Langdon, yeah. 8
from 2016.
5.
I'll do a 6.
Also has the beautiful Felicity Jones in it.
I just don't think it was as.
And Ben Foster, who I love.
Yeah, I just don't think it was as good as the first 2.
It's not. I honestly I enjoyed it better than Angels and Demons.
No, see, that's where me and you would differ.
Yeah. So but I still gave it a 6.5.
He wanted Ewan McGregor to die.
Have you seen it? Would you give it an 8?
8, yeah.
You didn't
6.
6?
Yeah.
Sully from 2016. This is high on my list. It was on my top 5. I give it a 10.
No.
Yeah.
I think that movie is only an hour and 30 minutes.
You get so much action, you get so much storytelling, and you get emotion all in. It's like
it's his performance that makes the movie. So I'll do a 7.5.
Ed?
I haven't seen that one.
The Bridge of Spies, 2015.
I'm gonna do a 9.
You're gonna do 9. I'm gonna do a 7.
I'll agree. A 7.5, honestly.
Captain Phillips. I gave it a 10.
I'll give it a 10.
Ed?
AMD Captain, no. 9.
Saving Mr. Banks, 2013.
I'll do that. I'll do 8.5.
I haven't seen it in a while, and it's something I really want to rewatch. But on my last rewatch that happened, 6 years ago, I gave it a 7. Ed?
I'll agree.
That was Saving Mr. Banks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've only seen this once, and I don't remember much of it, so I'm not gonna give a star rating. Cloud Atlas.
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it.
From what I remember, it's really. Have you seen What Dreams May Come with
The
Robin Williams?
movie? No.
It's really. It's weird. But like I said, I haven't watched it in a long time. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close.
Have not.
I've only seen that once, but I'll do a 7.
I've only seen it the one time, and from what I can remember, I'm going to give it a 6. This is a movie I was really, really high on, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm actually going to rewatch it probably tonight, and that's Larry Crown.
I haven't seen it.
With Julia Roberts. From what I can remember, I'm going to give it a 7. And that was from 2011. The narrator, he did. I forgot. I mean, we're not going to start rating, but he did the narrator for the Pacific.
Oh,
you
that's
remember
right.
that series?
Mm-hmm.
A pretty good series.
Yeah.
HBO. Toy Story 3. This
Well,
is where we're going to fucking argue. I give it a 10.
I'll give it a 10.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which one of you did not like Toy Story 3? Wasn't there one of you? It might have been Craig. Craig, if you're listening, I'm going to argue with you.
Sorry.
Angels and Demons from 2009.
I would personally do a 9.
Give it a 6.
What?
I told you I liked Inferno a lot better than this one.
I do a 9.
I might have to rewatch that. I might rewatch those this week. Charlie Wilson's War. I gave it an 8.
I haven't seen it all the way through.
The Woody Cars.
Oh, yeah.
The Da Vinci Code, from what I remember, I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm going to give it a 8.
2006.
9.
The Lady Killers. I forgot this
Jesus.
movie.
I was...
Wow. Tom Hanks, The Lady Killers.
Isn't that the Coen brothers that directed that?
Yeah, the Coen brothers with Marlon Wayans, J.K. Simmons, George Wallace. This is, I don't think this movie's on Blu-ray. That's why I don't have it. You didn't like this?
I haven't seen it. I'm going to be honest.
Have you seen it?
No, I have not.
Watch now on HBO with Prime Video channels.
Well, I guess he's wanting us to go watch it.
Polar Express.
I'd say 8.5.
I'm giving it a 7.
I haven't seen the Polar Express.
I mean, it's a really good Christmas movie if you're into that. It's a really good animation.
I don't know if anybody...
I remember... Well, this is going to be a throwback. I remember renting it from Hollywood Video, but I just never got a chance to watch it.
It's been
You guys don't have...
It was 05, right?
You guys don't have kids, but the Polar Express is actually coming to Oklahoma City. And starting this Sunday through the rest of the Sundays through December, you can actually ride the Polar Express themed train from Oklahoma City to Stillwater and back. And they play songs, they give you free hot cocoa, snacks, and then it's actually driving to Stillwater. You get off the train, you get a gift from Santa, then you come back.
Oh, they're also showing at the Warren every Saturday afternoon. They're going to show a Christmas movie. They're showing Gremlins, Elf, The Polar Express, and Christmas Vacation.
But not 8. Oh man.
The Terminal, 2004.
I'll give that an 8. I really enjoyed that.
Same here, 8. Ed?
What's next? I have not seen it.
Catch Me If You Can.
10.
Damn,
9.
8.5.
This is also on the rewatch. Road to Perdition.
I've been wanting to watch that so badly. The first time I watched it, I think I'll give it like a 7.5.
Ed?
I have not seen that one.
You can watch it Sunday on AMC. So that's a pretty cool thing that IMDb here added to their movies. Castaway. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yeah, I agree. 9.
I'll do an 8, but I haven't seen it in forever.
The Green Mile, 1999.
10.
I'm gonna give it a 9. Toy Story 2.
9.
It's an 8 for me.
8, yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, I gave it a 10.
9.5, I think, is what I gave it.
A 3. No.
God, a
10.
You've Got Mail from 1998.
I've never actually seen that.
Ed?
I never have as well.
I gave it a 7.
The movie is like a product of its time, though.
You've Got Mail.
That Thing You Do, 1996. Ed?
I haven't seen it.
I gave it a 7. Apollo 13, 1995.
8.5.
I'll do an 8.
I gave it a 7. Toy Story, 1995. I gave it a 10.
10.
Forrest Gump, 1994. I gave it a 9.
Forrest Gump, I'll give it 9.
Philadelphia, 93. I gave it a 10.
10.
8.5.
Sleepless in Seattle, 1993. I gave it a 7.
I haven't seen it.
I don't watch chick movies.
Oh, you can go suck a fucking wiener. A League of Their Own.
Chick movies do.
I gave it a 9.
Haven't seen it.
Ed?
I haven't seen that one.
The Burbs, 1989.
Isn't that supposed to be like a horror comedy movie?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
I gave it a 6. Turner and Hooch, which is now officially on Disney Plus.
7.5.
I gave it a 7.
I'll do it. I'll do an 8. Just how just ridiculous.
He's gonna try a 10.
All right.
Big, 1988.
8.
I gave it a 9. There's some other smaller movies in here that I don't think we've really seen. Every Time We Say Goodbye.
I haven't seen it.
Nothing in Common. The Money Pit, 1986. I give it an 8.
I haven't seen it.
The Man with the Red Shoe, 1985.
I haven't seen it.
The Bachelor Party, 1984.
I have not seen that one.
I give it a 7. And then I think Splash was his big comedy breakout with, I think, Dana Harrell, directed by Ron Howard.
What?
Yeah. I haven't seen it. Any of you guys?
No.
So looking back at his filmography, man, that's a lot of movies. But what would you say? Like, there was actually quite a few that you guys haven't seen.
Yeah, there was.
I was surprised.
Probably about 65% for me, I think.
Yeah, about the same.
I think.
I think you were more like 30% that you haven't seen.
You think any of his movies are all here like Criterion? We've had a lot of Criterion emails over the past few.
Speaking of
Cloud Atlas could be a Criterion movie. It's weird.
Forrest Gump would.
I think Philadelphia could. Honestly.
Maybe even Green Mile.
Yeah, because Silence of the Lambs is a.
I mean, if
Criterion.
Antichrist can, I think Green Mile definitely isn't that taboo of a subject.
Speaking of Criterion, I was texting Johnny about this.
I thought he was going to say, speaking of Antichrist.
He watched it again and got his own copy, 4K.
Wow. No, our favorite movie ever, Roma, is coming to Criterion. So just go ahead and let the rant go on.
Now, there's not going to be a rant for this one because maybe I could
see it being a Criterion.
Yeah,
now.
what I was going to say is maybe I can try to rewatch it once it hits and try to see.
Open your mind.
Exactly. I'm going to try to, I'm going to probably purchase it and I'm going to try to sit and rewatch it and maybe get some back info on Roma.
You realize that
shit out of it
you realize that next episode's going to be just trashing the movie all over again.
Well, when does it come out? It's
February.
next year, right?
Right after my birthday. So there you go.
So I'm getting him Roma for his birthday.
He's going to watch the copy
But
once and throw it at you.
You know why I didn't enjoy it?
Because it was black and white and it was long.
Because it was only on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
If it won Best Picture, where would it have gone? I would have had to wait a whole year to put something there. Fuck Roma.
2 words.
I think, kind of round up the Tom Hanks episode. I think, if there's anything that he probably should have, I really hope he gets nominated for A Beautiful Day. I think everything I've heard about it is it's just perfect casting for that character or for that person. I think if I had to choose any other films that he should have won or nominated for, well, he got nominated, but probably should have won. I'd probably say Saving Private Ryan and Captain Phillips.
He got nominated for Saving Private Ryan.
He got nominated, but he didn't win.
I would probably have to agree and say Captain Phillips, and then
Sully.
The last few movies he's done, I don't even know if he got nominated for The Post.
He didn't get nominated for The Post, no.
But I would say those 3. I think if I had to say, it would be the 2 you mentioned plus Sully. Like, I feel like he should be sitting with 5 Oscars.
And I'm gonna add Bridge of Spies in there too.
Yeah.
What about you, Ed?
If you had to put a whipped topping on the Tom Hanks episode and talk about your maybe like a favorite Tom Hanks moment. Would it be the moment that he met Buzz Lightyear on Woody's bed?
No, I mean, we'll see later on this year, but I do think that he's had quite a few different ones. Specifically for me, at least, I keep going back to it. It allures me, just the Da Vinci Code.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing him seamlessly go ahead and iterate all the Because I mean, don't get me wrong. Okay, to play, he's a smart guy. I'm pretty sure. I mean, he seems it. But to go ahead and actually have to iterate all that language and all that seamlessly, he just does it perfect. I mean, the guy is just amazing at it. He is a great speaker. He is a great monologuer. So I mean, every little clue, if you will, going along with like the Da Vinci Code or anything like that, he always seems to do a wonderful job at it. So.
I was going to ask you, have you guys noticed, like, when he does movies that are big, that make a lot of money at the box office, like whether it be the Da Vinci Code series movies, are you surprised at his really well performance movies that that he's just so good at, like stuff like Sully or Captain Phillips? Are you surprised that doesn't do good at the box office? But when he does movies like the Da Vinci Code or obviously Toy Story, but we don't count those, I don't think. Like his big budget box office films are the movies that end up not getting critically acclaimed.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Like when he'll go out and do something like like the Da Vinci Code, those are really hot sellers, but for some reason people crap on them.
It's preference, I think.
You think you will ever see him do like I was gonna say $1 billion hit, but Toy Story 4 made $1 billion.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But no, this is somebody who averages, most of his movies that we've sat here and talked about, even if you gave him a 6 or a 9, most of his movies are like between the 7 and 10 range. Like,
yeah.
You're going to get a quality performance in that kind of an actor.
Definitely. And I mean, it's kind of funny to, look back on like Turner and Hooch and all that. But you can even see it in the voiceover work he does for Toy Story. He's still got his comedy.
Oh, yeah. Well, not to mention his, like if you do any of the special features on any of those Toy Story movies, when he's reading those lines, like the dude's face is like if he's on camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, he
is so into it. I mean, if you could get an Oscar or some kind of award for voiceover work, I think he would have had 4.
Well, I mean, they say that to express an emotion over just your voice, you've kind of got to actually look the part, even though you may not be on camera. You've got to act like you're in motion capture, just because it kind of iterates it through the mic how you're feeling, whether excited or mad or anything like that. Because I mean, basically, if you're trying to sound happy, it's more smile and be upbeat a little bit, or think upbeat at least. If you're trying to be depressed, then of think about some of the worst situations in your life.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be that's true. I'm excited for next week. We're going to talk A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which has a theatrical release, technically, of November the 22nd this week. But other than that, guys, I think.
I know we don't follow Rotten Tomatoes, but it's sitting at 96%.
Wow.
Yeah. It's already certified fresh.
Certified fresh.
But hey, let's get into the mailbag. What emails do we got for
in the mailbag? You know what? I am excited because. Not only do we get to talk a brand new movie next week, which we try to do maybe 1 or 2 a week for, but damn you, Zach, you said Rotten Tomatoes, so that made me, like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go check out IMDb and see what they gave the movie. Right now, they're only giving it a 6.
Damn.
And usually I'm opposite. Like usually, like
it's
Rotten.
the other way around.
Yeah. Usually I'm like fuck Rotten Tomatoes, but I don't know.
So they're usually rotten on your scale.
Always rotten. But yeah, let's get into the final segment of the day, and we'll talk some emails. So if you guys want to send us any emails, by all means, go for it at Cine-Men, Cinemen 921 at gmail.com. This one comes from John. He wants to say, hey guys, love the episodes. I would like some more sci-fi movies. I'm always into sci-fi movies. Probably my favorite genre. If so, what would you guys want to do? Sci-fi to me is more like spoofy. You could sit there and say like stuff like E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'm gonna think outside the box and say Starship Troopers.
Oh yeah, that would be great. I mean, we haven't done a Star Trek yet at all,
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that would be one to go ahead. And I know that's a lot more mainstream. But, yeah, Starship Troopers would be cool. But, yeah, we haven't done a Star Trek at all. But we've done a couple Star Wars now. So,
I don't know if I'd really want to do the first one, but I think Blade Runner 2049. I think that'd be a cool one to do.
Wait a minute. What do you mean you don't want to do the first one?
I mean, I enjoy the second one better.
It just to me the first one didn't like age well for you.
No, not even. I don't think it's paced very well. I think the second was like really go.
Tony says that Jonah Hill's teeth bothered me the entire movie of The Wolf of Wall Street. When it kind of changes somebody's, like he wants to know what are your thoughts on it. Like when it changes somebody's voice or how they talk or how they read a script. Do you think that should have been something that just was left out of his attire?
Not really, because I mean, don't get me wrong. That's if you take in Freddie Mercury, his teeth were messed up and he never got them fixed, and it actually states that that's part of the reason he had the vocal range that he did is his teeth. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand that maybe that character wasn't necessarily a singer or any vocalist or anything like that, but sometimes that's what makes part of a character is the little detailed things. And I mean, it does specifically go into detail to say, in the monologue or the inner thoughts of Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and say, holy shit, this guy's teeth are gleaming white. So I mean,
What about you?
I like that answer. Go with that. I don't have really much to add to that. I think that's perfect, spot on.
Anonymous wants to know, did you guys see the recent thoughts on Christian Bale saying he would no longer do like a drastic weight change? Like he said he'll never like either lose a ton of weight or gain a bunch of weight for a part anymore.
Probably done a lot to his body.
Yeah, I mean he did The Machinist and then Batman and then The Fighter and then Dick Cheney, and then he had to lose like 40 pounds for Ford versus Ferrari.
How was he in Ford versus Ferrari?
He's really good.
Is he?
Yeah.
I guess was he nominated for Vice?
Yeah, he was nominated.
So all that weight was his real weight.
Yeah.
Golly.
But I mean, losing weight and gaining weight like that can't be good for your immune system and health and digestive system and all that. So.
And then this is the email I talked to you guys about off air. I know it's a movie podcast by Glenn, but what are your thoughts on the Browns and Steelers?
Man, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's already gone ahead and came out. Mason Rudolph's not pressing charges. Myles Garrett is indefinitely suspended.
I don't think Mason Rudolph is as guilty or as innocent as everybody says he is.
I mean, I don't know.
You saw it like after he got off the floor, he rage ran him.
Yeah.
Which I mean, if he is truly afraid of Myles Garrett in that moment,
but
he should have.
He also didn't like the way Myles Garrett sacked him. So as soon as Myles Garrett was on top of him, he started kicking him in the gonads.
But I mean, no, if you don't like the way he sacks, you go ahead and make quicker decisions.
Get rid of the ball,
or get out of the pocket.
Now I don't agree with taking the dude's head and hitting him upside the head with the helmet, even if he did kick you in the gonads. But at that point, I'm just like, you know what? You guys are getting paid millions of dollars. You got so many sponsors on the line. No, you're not acting like children. You're acting like a bunch of fucking thugs. Get over yourself. Okay. You got national TV online. You got tons of families watching you. Be a fucking pro.
And I mean, that's the thing is, you've got not only that, not only sponsors and all that, you've got kids that are watching you. Those kids could go, and just one kid grabs a helmet, thinks it's cute, smashes another kid upside the head at school tomorrow. Well, what'd you do that for, little?
And you know what? If Myles Garrett got suspended for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So you know what? Mason Rudolph deserves at least a game suspension.
I mean, I didn't get to see that. I've only seen the highlight or clip or whatever you want to call it of that. So I mean, I didn't get to see everything that led up to the altercation
because you don't know what was said.
Yeah.
You don't know what was. You do see the kick in the gonads.
Yeah.
So Myles Garrett probably got a little heated for that, but that still has no right to whack somebody over the head with a helmet.
I mean, fist to fist or fist to whatever, that's one thing, and that's going a little too far anyways. But I mean, yeah, definitely.
Well, you never saw Lawrence Taylor in the 80s or 90s do something like that.
No, he was just destroying you on the field.
Yeah, you never saw Phil Simms or Troy Aikman kick somebody in the gonads because they got sacked a certain way.
No, I mean...
Get up, go play football. You're playing a fucking game for multi-million dollars. Stop acting like thugs and go play some football.
And I mean, Mason Rudolph's getting the chance of his life right now. He's behind Big Ben, one of the arguably, the most... the guy's been starting for how many years now? Since 05, 06?
Fuck him. You know what?
Well, but I'm saying he's
I'm
getting
hot.
a huge chance to
And he's
prove
already blown
himself.
that chance by throwing 4 interceptions in a game against the Browns.
In one game.
You're done for. As soon as Roethlisberger comes back, guess what? You're back on the bench.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have anything to say. I think you guys summed it up.
Sam G69. Worst Tom Hanks film of all time, if you have any.
The Circle.
Circle. Ooh.
It's not an easy one. I mean, honestly...
Well, what's one that you don't enjoy as much as the other ones?
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Whoa.
Maybe Turner and Hooch, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
No, I watched it. I watched it for the first time on Disney Plus, and I thought it was pretty funny.
I like Turner and Hooch, but I mean, as in, if I'm going to watch that over Forrest Gump or Da Vinci Code, no.
I think Forrest Gump for me is just, I watched it too many times. If I had to redo one, it would probably be, I kind of enjoyed so far everything.
I will say that, Forrest Gump I haven't watched in probably 6 or 7 years. Maybe 5. 5 to 7, somewhere in that. 2012, 2014.
This is a good one. I don't think we've gotten this yet. Terry Sasquatch wants to know, favorite animated film of 2019.
Love the name so far.
Oh,
That's a pretty, what came out this year? Toy Story 4.
Abominable.
Atrocious is what it should have been called.
Oh. Is it that bad?
It's pretty bad.
Frozen 2, which comes out Friday. We haven't seen that yet.
Well, come out today and prior.
Yeah.
That's a good...
That's a good question. What?
Oh, I got one. I don't know if either of you have seen it, but probably one of my... it's not my favorite, but probably the one that's gone under the radar is Missing Link.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you told me to watch it.
Kind of going into his name or her name for that, Terry Sasquatch.
I thought it was pretty cool.
You told me about that, and why?
What did you get, Johnny?
I ended up buying Ugly Dolls, and that movie was atrocious.
I don't think I've actually seen an animated movie this year, personally.
You haven't seen Toy Story 4? He hasn't seen Toy Story 4.
I have not.
Right now, that might be the only one.
That's probably...
Technically, it had a Blu-ray release of this year, which was Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse, but it's technically a 2018 film.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Which, give or take, because it did come out early.
That'd be the only one for me, I guess, but it's still not even this year, so the newest one for me.
Sherry wants to say, what's your favorite actor-director combo? Like Johnny Depp, Tim Burton, Martin Scorsese, Leonardo DiCaprio, or Tom Hanks, Steven Spielberg, or do you have another combo?
Honestly, I'd have to go with Johnny Depp, Tim Burton, personally. I like that.
Johnny Depp, Tim Burton?
Yeah.
What are you, Zach?
I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna throw one that I just kind of thought about off the bat. I agree with the email, Leo and Scorsese and Hanks and Spielberg. I'm gonna do Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler. Because Ryan Coogler's directed Michael B. Jordan's been in all of Ryan Coogler's films, and I think that's a good combo. What about you, Johnny?
Right off the top of my head, I would have to say Leo and Scorsese. Those are some pretty good flicks whenever they do them together.
Hell, even Helena Bonham Carter and Tim Burton, for that matter, because she's been in a ton of his movies.
Ooh. I mean, they've only done I think they've only done 2, but even Quentin Tarantino and Brad Pitt's movies were pretty good. Those 2.
Yeah.
That'd be Samuel L. Jackson and Tarantino.
Oh yeah. That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Coco Chris wants to know, what is your thought behind? What is the thought behind? I read that wrong. What is the thought behind each film you guys want to review? Like, how's the process work?
So, okay, sometimes it'll be, we'll just kind of talk over and go between anniversaries, or, we've done polls many times.
First off, I love that name. It makes me want to go get some Cocoa Crisp every time. Honestly, I think you have to enjoy the movie you do.
Yeah.
I think you have to be passionate about what. I mean, that's.
But we've done movies that either I don't like or I don't know if there's really been one that you don't. I think Watchmen's the closest we've gotten.
No, Evil Dead was the closest so far. Watchmen.
Well, guess what? Next week we're doing It Follows. No.
All right. Watchmen, I actually liked. I did just think it was.
He watched
a
the
long
one that was a
version.
week long.
4 hours. Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, anniversaries, kind of like the thing that lined up perfectly with Leo last week with his birthday and all that. There's different stuff like that.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino is kind of a universally thing that we just have liked. There's a ton of different things that we go over and we kind of talk throughout the week about, because I know Johnny does a lot of more of the plugging in of episodes and all that than either myself or Zach does.
I just don't have anything to do.
Well, but I mean,
it's usually just like one of those things. Like I'll look around in this library and I'm like, "That's really good," or I haven't seen that in a long time. What do these guys think about it? And usually it's almost like a, yeah, it's good, or yeah, that's fine,
or even Fences like that. You just show the clip to me,
yeah.
and then boom, it was like, oh shit, that's
and
amazing.
And the other thing that we do is also, and we're not going to be apologetic about it, is that we always lead up to a big film, like we're doing with Rise of Skywalker or Endgame or
It Chapter
2, or something something that's going to be big, but everyone's going to want to hear our thoughts on. I also like to do films that I know we can't do every single new release, but we got to do Joker. We're going to do A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and
we try and do older movies, newer movies, and then we go ahead and try to put in a brand new movie or a theatrical release within the month.
Yeah.
Especially if we kind of just snag something or something snags our eyes.
That's why I really had like a slow topic discussion earlier in the day with you, Zach, about if I watch this Peanut Butter Falcon and I just get blown away by it, my mind is going to be like, fuck A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, let's talk about Peanut Butter Falcon.
Or, I mean, like, what we've done for at least, 4 weeks is talk about next year's spooky season lineup, for that matter.
Or the award season's coming up. We're at the end of the year where we're just going to talk favorite films.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I think, like you said, Johnny, I think we talked about it off here. I think we'll do like our own version of the Oscars and kind of do something
I've got some stuff lined up for that.
And then I'll end it with this one because it's kind of running a little. Nick wants to know what's our favorite thing about Disney Plus so far.
The Mandalorian, and just the
damn it.
The Mandalorian, and then the access to all the different old school or new school stuff. I
have a feeling me and Disney Plus is going to be on this love-hate relationship for the next 12 months, where I'm going to love...
Like every other episode's going to be, I love Disney Plus and I hate it, like that.
Well, I love some of the series that they put out there, mostly they're Fox series, not Disney shows. Like I said, I'm a hard copy collector, so I have most of the Disney movies. But, what? I'm excited to see what original content they come out with.
Mm-hmm.
Mandalorian is excellent. Can they keep up the momentum with the Marvel shows coming up next year?
Yeah.
Are those going to be excellent? Stuff like that.
And then on top of that, I finally have a place that I can go and just see The Force Awakens when I want, because out of all the streaming services that I've had in the past year, I've not been able to find one that has the freaking Force Awakens. So now I have it, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Granted, I just got it today, so I really haven't got a chance to really watch anything other than at lunch. I just kind of binged a lot of the classic Mickey Mouse cartoons.
I think
they were awesome.
You're gonna like that stuff.
Yeah, and I like the old, and I like the Mandalorian, which I haven't got to see, but and I get to rewatch some of the stuff that I watched as a kid, like Lizzie McGuire, even Stevens, Boy Meets World.
Actually, my wife at work, in her free time at work, she's watching Xenon, and she's able to go ahead and piggyback off of my account on my phone bill. So,
well, and that's something else that I think is cool, is that like if you have, people that kind of don't want to spend the money on Disney Plus, you can have multiple accounts for those people.
Yeah, and if you guys are looking for new phone services, if you guys sign up with Verizon and get the unlimited plan, you get free 12 months of Disney Plus.
Yep.
Can't beat that.
And all you have to do is sign up for that. And
Verizon, if you're listening, pay my bill.
I know. Me too, bro. Me too.
Free sponsorship.
I've been mentioning that for 2 weeks now. What's up?
But guys, any other whip topping that you want to put on the Tom Hanks episode?
Not really, actually. I mean, I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing how he does with Mr. Rogers.
Hello, neighbor.
I think he's gonna kill it.
My final thoughts.
He looks great so far in the trailers.
Looks great, sounds great, but my final thoughts are, guys, if you're out there listening, go support this movie. Please. You know what I mean? Like, go see it. If you're between the ages, I think, of 24 or 25 and 30, maybe older, you know what? You kind of stayed home from school. Guess what? You watched a couple episodes of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, or the teachers probably showed it to you in the classrooms. But not only that, go support these movies that we talk about, whether it's stuff like The Peanut Butter Falcon or Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. These movies that are going to make maybe $5 to $10 million at the box office.
Yeah, I mean it's going up against Frozen 2, and Frozen 2 is going to be a mega hit. So
you think it'll be Disney's $5
billion film?
No, they've had 5. You think it'll be 6th?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So at least 7 or 8 this year.
Yeah. Oh, there's no way that movie's not going to make $1 billion.
Go see it, because it's even stuff like The Lighthouse. The Lighthouse blew me a fucking way.
It's already out of the theater.
Yeah.
I already told you.
Go check it out.
I do have one small thing I want to talk about. It's been basically
come at me
going on for at least 7-8 months now. I think that they've been doing all the redos. Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. Everybody who has literally griped, bitch, whined, complained, and cried about this, I think.
You think this is going to blow people
needs
away?
to pay respects to this movie.
No.
And go see it, because this is one of the first major corporations that has literally said, you know what? Okay, we got you. We messed up a little bit. We're going to go and spend millions of dollars and redo our vision.
Fixing his teeth.
I think
and eyes and fur and stuff like that.
I think that was stupid on their part.
I mean, I do, but I think now the fans owe it to them.
But you know what? At the end of the day, they're not. And I hate to say it because, I enjoy going and seeing movies too, but that's how a majority of this country, this is a whole different topic right now, that's how a majority of these, people who sit there behind the phone, behind the computer and complain, they're not going to go see the movie. People complained, and guess what? What would you say the budget for that movie is going to be? Off the top of your head.
Maybe
35.
It's going to be double than what it was 6 months ago.
Yeah. It may have been 35. Now it's probably like 60, 70.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, it's not gonna make no $80 million at the box office.
No.
It's not gonna make almost $1 billion at the box office.
No.
It comes out in February, which you have
about 4 months.
Birds of Prey.
Yeah. You have some other big movies coming out in February. So guess what, guys? I don't see that movie making its money back, and I really think that the scores are going to be pretty low.
Maybe Jim Carrey's name may draw some people, but not to the extent of what they're thinking.
That would probably be I was never a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan, so that's if I do, I'm not going to go see it in the theaters.
You're going to camp out.
But if am I going to buy it? Probably, and the only reason I'm going to say probably is because Jim Carrey's in it.
Yeah.
When's the last time I got to see him act goofy?
Dumb and Dumber 2.
And that was terrible.
I actually remember the guys who came up to watch that. They actually dressed in the tuxedos. If you remember that a few years ago, when we were working at the theater, these two guys did. But I mean, I feel like that was a studio trying to go ahead and say, you know what, we hear you. We're going to go ahead and fix what you feel is our mistakes and correct what we did wrong. And put the product out. Now they've got the product out, they're about to start letting it go and putting it out there here in the next few months. I personally think a lot of people owe it to this movie to go at least see it. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that just because whatever. I'm just saying that because I don't get paid by whoever the hell. I don't even know what studio is freaking doing this. I truly don't kind of care. But I mean, I just think that the people who bitched, cried, whined, and complained need to go see it because I'm sorry. How many corporations have listened to little people and changed major things?
At the end of the day, though, people are going to complain. People are going to get behind Twitter or stand on Twitter and complain and make things trend for all the wrong reasons. Yeah. And at the end of the day, Ryan Johnson said it best this week. Fuck him.
I mean, basically.
Well, something else, is that while I don't, in my opinion, it doesn't look good. Not to say it won't be good. is a Scoob.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Scooby-Doo animated film. I'm just like, why are we doing this?
Because, I mean, okay, for instance, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, I could have bitched and said, well, I liked it when it was organic webbing with Tobey Maguire. Well, you know what? I'm sorry.
We're going to change some
you know what I
things.
mean? We're going to change it to, oh, he's organically making the web himself now. Okay. Did I gripe about that? No. I thought it was a great film. I like it. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's just little BS things.
I thought Spider-Man always has homemade web.
No, actually, in the comics, it differed here and there.
Oh.
Yeah. Even in video games, too.
Well,
So.
I mean, this was a fun topic. Usually when we do these profile pieces, you know, the conversation goes all the way around the board, whether we talk about different kinds of movies.
And it did go all around the board.
It did this time, which was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
We got to talk a lot of good movies. He's got a lot of good movies, all the way from Big to, you know, Mr. Rogers.
Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Why not just call him Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Or The Neighborhood or something.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be good. I can't wait to talk all things about A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. So unless you guys have anything else, I think we're gonna try to wrap it up, and the countdown to the movie is on.
One last thing. Me and Johnny are going to go see an advanced screening of Frozen 2, actually.
All right. So with that being said, Zach went ahead and signed out. Ed, you're going to finish this episode off with me.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to talk a little about The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Because I'm going to put it in the episode, in the tag title, that, you know, Mandalorian talk, as well as Tom Hanks and etc.
Yeah.
Or Excedrin, whatever. That's how exhausted I am. I probably need some Excedrin. But, man, it started off with a bang.
Dude.
The first episode, the guy getting, you know, the bar fight scene.
Yeah.
And then,
Showing you how much of a badass he is.
Yeah. And now this takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But the thing that everybody's like, what the fuck's going on, is at the end of the very first episode, you see a baby
Yoda species, basically.
Species, yeah.
There's no official. Even George Lucas is like, I'm not really sure yet.
He probably doesn't, because honestly, maybe it was written in there because it's holiday season, and guess what? They want to sell some plush toys.
And I mean, I've seen, you know, yeah, probably, and I've like heard talk about it was an elf species and all, but I'm just saying the official thing from George Lucas himself so far has been it's an unknown species. Yoda species is what they actually call it.
Because Yoda died in Empire Strikes... No, at the beginning of Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
So Yoda, the character, is dead.
Yes. And this is only the third of the species to be shown in the entire works.
Filmography.
Well, fourth if you count, I think, Clone Wars, the cartoon.
Oh,
one.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I honestly think that it was good. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. It was completely... it blew me away.
Because, I mean, we were talking about trending. That
right.
Baby Yoda is hot trending right
now.
Well,
the entire series is trending. Like, not only did it kick off really, really good on day one Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Had over I think it was over 1 million subscribers in one day. And then the series is, you know, I'm always leery because I didn't get to watch it till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
I think you watched it shortly after me.
I think so, yeah. I think 10 or 11 o'clock that day.
But, you know, by the time I'd watched it, there's already been 8 hours of people saying, oh my God, it's so good, it's so good. So when you first wake up and you see that it's trending and everybody's just on the high hopes about it, I'm kind of leery at first. I'm like, do I really want to see this right now? Because everybody's just, you know.
Honestly, I kept away from social media that day because literally I remembered, oh yeah, today's the 12th, you know, it came out today, so I'm going to go ahead and go on. And I just gone on and checked it all out, and then that was the first thing I hit. I was like, all right.
I waited till about 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock last Tuesday morning to see the first episode. And then I get off work at 7 o'clock in the morning, came home, saw the second episode, and I was kind of, I'm going to say disappointed. I really, really enjoyed the episode. The episode was good.
Just short.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm kind of disappointed in the length because I'm like, okay, this big hot series, I'm kind of feeling like it's going to be Game of Thrones, like maybe 45 minutes to 50 minutes every week.
Yeah.
But it's literally like the first episode was 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then last week's episode
just
was
over
30.
Yeah.
Other than that, what do you think?
Honestly, I'm loving it so far. A little different look, and I mean, if this is what is expected to come with, you know, Obi-Wan or Kenobi or whatever it is, that they're calling it with that, and even, maybe a Vader or maybe whatever it is, if this is the kickoff for it, I'm kind of excited. I've got high hopes.
So you would rather have an Obi-Wan series than an Obi-Wan movie?
I'd go either way personally. Obi-Wan, especially if it's involving Ewan McGregor,
right, was
one of my top 2 favorite characters of the entire series, personally, and that's either Alec Guinness or Ewan McGregor.
So then it would, yeah. I mean,
but I prefer the Ewan McGregor.
The budget, well, it's going to be Ewan McGregor.
Yeah,
it's going to be, if this series is $100 million budget, I could just imagine what the Ewan McGregor budget would be.
Well, I mean, especially if this one does as good as so far, if it keeps on with the ball rolling like it is now, then I can only imagine, what they're going to be like. Okay, maybe we should invest a little bit more. Higher profile actor. He's part of the actual series or canon or whatever you want to call it. Big name in the Star Wars franchise. Let's throw a bigger bone to this guy. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, not many people know what the hell the Mandalorian's true name is. Okay, so since
there's even been Boba Fett references, and I'm like, Boba Fett died in Return of the Jedi.
Right. Now the thing is this one actually there's some backstory, and it is canon because it was in the flashbacks. If you slow it down or pause it during the flashbacks, he said he was a foundling, so that means very young, kind of like Anakin but younger, or Jedi-ish, because I mean the Mandalorians are famous for killing Jedi. And that's why they are having such an easy time and getting high-priced bounties. Anyways.
But if they're known for killing Jedi, then why not? I mean, who killed most of the Jedi in the third movie? It was the Stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers, yes. Order 66.
So, like, why, if you're, I don't know, I do kind of wish you saw more of them killing Jedi.
Yeah, and I mean...
Like, I almost feel like this could... Mandalorian's going to be hit no matter what.
Yeah.
But I feel like it could have been huge if you placed this Mandalorian episodic series in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, because you could see them kind of maybe hunt some maybe 1 or 2 Jedi stragglers that are still hanging out there, and then you could still see the original Boba Fett. And then 3, you could pretty much do whatever you wanted.
Because, I mean, apparently this one's origins go as far back as being a very young child in the Clone Wars era, during the Clone Wars and all that. So not saying he's a clone of Jango Fett or even, along the lines of Boba Fett for that matter. But yeah, like I said earlier, the official name of the Mandalorian coming from Pedro Pascal himself is Din Djarin. And that was told by Jon Favreau and all that. So
I will say in the first episode, I enjoyed the scene where he stumbled upon the few remaining stormtroopers.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed the way they made them look.
Especially the connection, because it was kind of like a disarrayed, if you will. On top of that,
because the Empire's no more. Imperial credits are not really much worth anything.
Which he, brought up to.
I think Carl Weathers is in it.
Yeah.
And Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I have to go back and look, but I don't know who did the music for this. I was kind of on the fence.
I do not know.
I was like, is this going to be John Williams? Or are they going to use some original Star Wars music? But go back and rewatch it and ask me, or I'll probably look it up here soon.
Okay.
But what? And even if you go back and rewatch it, did the music, did the soundtrack to me, did the soundtrack to you not sound like a Rocky score?
A little bit, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like you can see a lot of the classical, the more opera type kind of influence onto it, but yeah, you can kind of see the interweaving of those two styles, if you will.
It literally felt like I was watching a Rocky movie.
So goes up to the bounty and all that, about to see the youngling, the 50-year-old baby. What did you think of the droid? I mean, because did you sense his dislike of droids?
Yeah.
Because I mean, don't get me wrong, the speeder comes up, and at first I was like,
At the end when he killed that droid, because the droid was about to
off the Yoda character. Or Yoda species character. The speeder comes up and it's got a droid in it at first, and he's like, no droids. And then I like the little that they're putting guys that are people, actors or actresses that you know in the series, because I don't remember what the guy's from, but the guy who was driving the speeder, the second speeder at least, man, he's always a comedy type of a guy.
You talking about the little buddy?
No, the white guy with the goggles that was driving the second speeder that he paid him for. And he drove off. He said, beware, don't be on ice for very long. He drove off and then got ate by that dragon snake under ice thing. He's in a lot of comedies. But either way, yeah, it's kind of cool just to get little ticks like that. Doesn't like droids very much. Different things like that, mannerisms.
What do you? I mean, I'm sitting here reading some reviews about it. What do you think about? Some people are like, this is easily the best thing that Disney has ever done with Star Wars. Comparing, I guess that he didn't like the first two movies. I guess what they also did, Rogue One and Solo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoy it, and like I said earlier in the review, I just want more episodes. I wish they would have done like Netflix and released all 8 episodes in one day.
I don't know. I kind of think this is smart, but I do agree with longer episodes because, like we talked about, or like you said, for that matter, these 2 episodes could have been one very, very easily.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
because honestly, I know why they do the ending the way they did it with the Yoda, because everybody's like,
oh my god, what is that?
I gotta see the next episode.
Oh yeah.
But if you would have put them 2 together, it would have been awesome.
Because I mean, I don't feel like the second episode forwarded the story very much at all.
And it was so short.
Yeah. So I mean, it kind of, we'll see 5, 6, 7 episodes in, or however many they do into a season.
The last episode is December 27th.
Okay, so probably what?
I think there's going to be 9 episodes, or 8 episodes.
8. So I mean, we've got 8 episodes in the season, more than likely. Possibly 9. However, if they do the 40-minute, 30-minute, 40-minute, 30-minute, then, it's going to be good just because people are going to want to come back.
I think the rest of them are going to be 30 minutes because, with it being the first episode, it's always the longest.
It's a longer one, yeah. But, I mean, honestly,
I do want to say
they kicked it off good.
Yeah. I think it was amazing. The thing I really like about the ending, I like the illustration.
Yeah.
At the end of each episode so far, the illustration of the scenes in the actual episode have been really good.
Now I will say,
clever.
What do you think upcoming? Do you think that he does? Because I mean, obviously they're wanting to do some type of experiment. They've already stated that. Do you think he hands the youngling over, or do you think he keeps the youngling and says screw the Beskar, extra Beskar, and goes from there?
Now what's interesting is, I like what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're keeping the Mandalorian away from the movies, I think.
It looks so far like that.
Because technically The Force Awakens is like 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And then The Mandalorian is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So what I think they should do is hopefully it doesn't have anything to do with any of the other movies. Hopefully they keep it away. Because if they wanted it to do with the new movies coming out, then they would have probably made it
5 years before those instead.
But with it being so far off, I think that's a good thing, and I'm excited. And I'm wanting to say I have a feeling that the little creature dies.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, they could go ahead and bring it into the movies and connect it that way. Because then, if it's 30 years, it would be 80 years old. The only way they can connect it is if he pops up in
The
Rise of Skywalker. And I mean, it's a possibility, but I kind of doubt it.
I doubt it too, because the last episode is the 27th, which is after Star Wars Rise of Skywalker comes out.
Yeah. So I mean,
But I mean, what does Disney have up their sleeve? They also, did they also release it just in time, right when the movie comes out? That's also, a possibility. They did it for a reason.
Because, the last episode of that comes just a week after the last Star Wars, of this trilogy for that matter, Episode 9. So, that could be coincidental. That could be ultimately intertwined and all. But, we'll see. But I hope the character doesn't die, because don't get me wrong, I think that would turn off quite a few fans just because of everybody. Oh, how cute, and different stuff.
Jon Favreau has already posted. He posted a picture saying season 2 is already under production.
So there's that.
Yeah, that's true too. So,
but we'll see how it goes. They can always edit stuff. I know that they have been editing the hell out of episode 9 and even changing and reshooting a few little things here and there. Not big things, but little things, changing up a little bit of the story here and there.
They won't send out the copy to theaters probably until the week of.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So what I think is usually how movies work when it has a Christmas release. I think they work all the way up until Thanksgiving. And then,
because I know that
it'll probably be 100% done next week.
Back when I used to work for the theater, it would get there 4 to 5 days before it was released. But it had with the one I worked for, it would have a time sensitive lock on it, and basically midnight of that day, and then you could put it up in the theater and all that, and then get it ready to be shown. But yeah, that was that.
It's weird how stuff like that's done. Like you get when I worked at the movie theater I worked at, movies would drop usually on Thursday night. Yeah. And I think they got
maybe Monday.
They got on like a Monday UPS or some shit like that. Yeah. But dude, it's so crazy. And nowadays movies are brought in on like a little USB drive.
Pretty much, but this one was the ones I seen were always brought in like almost not quite as big as a briefcase, but honestly kind of as big as our mixer, so roughly about 12 inches by 12 inches or so. But and that's probably have a few different slots for different USB drives or drives for that matter. But
yeah, but it's not like you could play it like you couldn't play it that like you said. Yeah. You got like 48 hours before.
And it had because I know this because I would talk to some of the upper management and ask them how they did it and all that, how Premiere worked, and they'd always tell me it's a time sensitive lock on it, and then once it unlocked, basically they could load it, and then just get it all going.
And they send the USB drive thingy back.
Yeah, after the showings, no matter if it's a couple months or even just 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah. They would send it back to the studios.
Pretty interesting stuff.
Which is kind of cool to know. Yeah. But, that's kind of cool that we're doing this, and we've both been in that, or experienced that type of
you and Zach. And, and it's funny how things aren't sent anymore, like on a big old movie reel. Like, it's not film anymore.
Well, I know the theater I worked at still had, they were able to support that, for that matter, because they still had a couple of them.
But there ain't no way people are doing that anymore because it's so flammable.
Well, that too, but on top of that, if you messed up and didn't switch it at the right time or whatever have you, film's screwed. Yeah. You're gonna have to take a lot of time to repair.
Most theaters still, especially if it's been open for 10 plus years, most probably still have the equipment to do and run film. Yeah. But like I said, it's so flammable.
And easily destroyable. So
what was I watching? I was watching a special feature on Dracula.
Yeah.
And they said that some of the film back in the day was so flammable that it had to be transferred like with tons of fragile stuff on the box, and it had to say extra flammable and fragile. And I'm like, it looked like they were it looked like they had diamonds in there.
Well, on top of that, you've got to figure they kind of did because, depending on how much money they thought it would actually make, it could either make or break a studio, legitly. And, what was it, or the career of a director or an actor? Because, I know, with Hitchcock and Psycho, that, he was kind of riding on that one, and if that did,
it would have made him look bad, but he was already well established.
Right. Right, but
Mandalorian episode 3 comes out Friday the 22nd.
Yeah,
you excited?
Yes, very, very much so. Do you know if they drop at midnight that night?
They drop at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. Okay.
3 a.m. Central Time.
Right. Because I was wondering about that because some of the other series that I've watched drops a couple hours around midnight or maybe even 10 o'clock on
They do 3.
Thursday.
I know 3 a.m. Central Time, which means that everywhere in the United States is already past midnight.
Yeah.
So
that's always
that'd
a fun
be
thing.
3 a.m. Central Time for us, 2 a.m. Eastern Time, and then on the West Coast it's 5 a.m.
Because that'd be about the time because honestly, I was going to this past Friday was going to go ahead and stay up and watch the Mandalorian second episode. I watched the first, and it was at like 1:30. Watched the first one, and then all I remember is waking up, and it was on my bed. I was like, crap.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. Central Time.
Because I had fallen asleep during. So. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that. Excited for a lot of different things that. I mean, Disney Plus. Yeah, it's going to be a hot topic for a couple months now. Just because of all the things it's got going on, maybe even the next year.
So
can't wait.
It'll be fun. Zach signed out. He's already gone. He didn't want to go ahead and get spoiled because he hasn't seen it. So he'll see it, and we'll talk all 3 episodes a little bit more next week. But next week, man, we're gonna break down A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Talk some more Tom Hanks, and I think we're gonna do our top 5 biopics.
Okay.
So if it's based on a true story, let's throw it in that top 5. Throw it in the top 5 machine and see what comes out.
So, I mean, okay, are we meaning based on the true story of, like, okay, Captain Phillips, or no?
Biopic, yeah.
Okay, so just making sure.
So like, would Titanic count? No, not really, because it was based off a true event, not based on real people.
Because
biopic would be like J. Edgar.
Yeah.
Or JFK.
Or Lincoln.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
But other than that, man, I think we're gonna wrap it up.
So yeah, this is Edward saying I'll see you on the silver screen.
And this is Juan. I want to say thank you guys for joining us for this edition of the Tom Hanks and on this episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. And come to us and talk to us next week as we talk all things Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, and we wrap it up with Mr. Rogers. So until next week, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.